I mean, just have a think about that. Almost 4 metres in the air. There isn't a defender in the game that can compete at that level. You compare that to Aaron Norton, who we think is a great contested mark. He's about 3.5 metres or 3.4 metres. That is a big separation, a big jump. So I feel sorry for probably Caminiti, who's going to get that match up tonight, but that's just what it's going to be. The Dogs forward 50, they've got to cash in tonight. They've got some undersized key post defenders they need to cash in.
Yeah, I look at Norton and I think he needs to be one that get as many looks, but at the moment Aaron Norton is leading 2 straight. And I know they've been doing some work with him with the Dogs this week and just trying to get a few more angles. He's a better player when he's jumping the ball. 3.4 metres is still bloody high. So he needs to make sure that if he's going to have an impact tonight, still think you're the man, but jump at the ball. Do your footwork to get yourself ready so that you can launch and catch the ball at its highest point as well.
Both teams out on the ground. It is the Saints taking on the Dogs on Thursday Night Footy, right here on your home of Footy Fox.
I like the feedback. Make sure it's 2 ways. Forgetting you're following me everywhere. That's better, Foss. Boy. There you go. Hit him. Just hit him. Gotta really time your lead here. You get so close. Test yourself out. You close him out. See the difference?
That's the fire starter that Ross Lyon was after. And right there is the return of the box.
Is that because you're on camera?
I just realised I'm walking you guys into traffic.
Too often. Not really. I got years left.
You're watching Thursday Night Footy on Fox. Brought to you by Ford Everest. Conquer the weekend.
poll coaches' votes in 7 games this year. There's a debate about where he plays his footy next year. Saints fans will be dearly hoping it is in the white, red and black down on the boundary. Amongst the action, Eddie Betts and Brad Johnson. Come in, men.
Oh, Howie, how exciting is the Cy Wanganeen Miller. His foot skills there, he's sharp with his feet. He's even better with ball in hand. I love the way he kicks the ball. So during the week, I got on the phone to Jared Healy and I thought, who's the best in the business, the best collaborator in terms of working out to putting a name to a possession? And Jared Healy's done it in the past. We know that with Nick Naitanui and the centre bounce work with the flipper, the flopper, the over-the-topper and the showstopper. So we thought we'd try and put something together for Nazaya. And we start off here with the number one kick that he has to produce weekly. This is the basic end. It's called the stabber. So this is in here. It's just the stabber. He just has to hit that target and allow them to go. Then he's got the stinger, where he runs off centre half back, gets involved in centre bounce, the old 1-2, and through he goes again. So that's the stinger. Then we go to the zinger. The zinger is his corridor ball. Look how good this is. Just the outside of the boot, beautiful steps up play. And then we go from the zinger to the humdinger, the one from the outside 50 that goes straight through the middle end. So that's what we want to see tonight.
So the stabber, the thinger,
I'll go through it again. I'll go through it again. The first one's the stabber, right? That's the important one. Basic, has to hit that target every single time. Then from the stabber, we go to the stinger, where he runs from centre half back at centre bounce, breaks through handball receive, starts to set up their forward play.
Hey, welcome in everyone. Thursday night footy here. Welcome. G'day, young Taddy. Will, good to see you. Jack, Crystal, welcome in everyone. Hey, just before we get back down to the commentators, because they're going to bounce the ball in just a moment, not too far away. I just thought I'd run through the ins and outs. Of course, StKilda, Liam Stocker, Jack McRae coming into the side, Palopo and Boxall going out. Jack Carroll is the sub today. And, of course, one milestone game on this evening. And, of course, that's Jack Sinclair of the Saints. 200 games. Well done to Jack. Looking at the Dogs now, I tell you what, have a look at this for an in, folks. Have a look at this for an in for the Doggies. Sam Darcy returns after injuring that knee. I tell you what, wow, one of the up-and-coming superstars of the competition, Sam Darcy. It'll be interesting to see how he performs tonight, how his knee holds up. You're at the game, Will. Holy Toledo, Batman. Give us a wave when you're there. Let us know where you're sitting. We'll try and spot you. Cooper Hines comes in for the Dogs also. Ryan Gardner, James Harms going out of the Bulldogs teams. And, of course, the sub is Cooper Hines. I tell you what, you don't get much of a bigger in. I'll just put that up. So there are your teams. You don't get much of a bigger in than Sam Darcy. No matter what team you play for, he is as important to the Bulldogs as any player in any team going around at the moment. All right, let's just put that back. Let's just stick that back there. Hey, welcome in, everyone. Will do. Oh, you're on level 1 in the Marvel seat. Wow, Santa. Oh, I tell you what, level 1 is absolutely, I think it's perfect at Marvel Stadium. Holy moly. All right, so they're about to do the coin toss. Hey, the crowd doesn't look overly big there, but still, that's not too bad. There's enough people in there to make a little bit of noise. Of course, the Bont winning, the coin toss going right of screen from where we're looking at. But it should be good. It should be good. You know, I like going to the footy when it's like that. You know, I like the big crowds where there's 80, 90,000 there, but I also like whenever I go and watch the Pies play, hey, La Rose, you know, when they play like interstate side, like either Sydney or Freo, the GWS, something like that, because that at least that way, you know, we only get about 60,000 at the G, and you've got that little bit of space, a little quiet, but I don't want to look like an idiot. No, hey, I tell you what, everyone cheers at the footy. That's a way to do it. That's what it's all about. I tell you what, I think the crowd will get into it, and you'll get into it. But then again, I'll be standing out with all my gear. Well, Santa, we'll try and see someone. There we go. Try and get on camera if you can. And when you do, say, that was me. Hey, all right. Hey, no worries. Let's get back down to the ground, folks, for this fantastic game. StKilda taking on the Western Bulldogs here at Marvel Stadium. On a chilly 6 degrees in Melbourne. Well, let's head down to the ground for the bounce of the ball. G'day, Liam.
Saratoga is ready to roll.
Terrific, Howie. Can't wait for this one on a Thursday night. StKilda coming in 5-7, and the Western Bulldogs 6-6. Bontempelli and Windhager exchanging telephone numbers in the middle of the ground. English wins the first tap. Patted out by Steele. Woods hot handball. Sinclair, his landmark game, sinks his boot into it. Long ball towards the top of the square. No mark from Keeler. It was Fraser at the fall of the ball. Williams, and then lobs. Clearing kick, not good enough. Charge for Burns, an early charge around the body. Cut off in the goal square by O'Donnell.
Immediately spreads it. Risky. And Mr. 200, Sinclair comes in at the perfect time. Eyes are darting, but looks like he's going to line them up.
Oh, this is what we're talking about. This guy, he plays half-back, but he just goes where the footy is likely to be. He plays the percentages, and when he's in the forward half, look out.
Rookie pick one back in 2014. Trevor Barker Award 22-23. 33rd Saint to 200 games. And to start his night perfectly, big build-up, not the result he was after.
Bit of a floater off the foot there from one of the best kicks in the competition.
Anti-climax from the two-time best and fairest. English. Little one outside, defensive 50, darting ball to Liberatore, and then Dale blazing through. Burning kick through the centre of the ground. Dale's piercing ball inside 50. Look at this man, though, picked up by Wanganeen Millerer. It was elite, the pickup. Quick hands. Sharman, little bit of a dance step on the spot, and then Hill floating handball back along the flank to Wilkie, and he's going to direct play out to Webster.
Webster, good early mark and possession for Darcy. This one play downfield the way of the Saints.
Caminiti got the big job, obviously, on Darcy. Wilkie's gone to Norton.
Short to Sinclair, front of Liberatore. Woods trying to provide the overlap run. And short to McRae. Looks a touch far out to be completely comfortable. McRae dishes back off. Another opportunity from outside range right to the top of the square. So a couple of early chances for Sinclair.
Another big matchup. Windhager has gone to the captain, Marcus Bontempelli. So looking to go straight after the Bulldogs captain with the Saints' best tagger.
Dale out to Williams. There's Fraser calling for it. A little bit rushed in the end. Norton with a little bit of work to do. Being harassed out of it. Has he kept it in play? No, throw it in.
There you can see the tag. Windhager, he will be right next to Marcus Bontempelli all night. Plenty of body on the Bulldogs captain already from Windhager's teammates too.
English and Marshall. Early attack going the way of the Saints through the legs of Richards. Liberatore goes to hoover it up, keeps it back into Kennedy. What a recruit he's been, immediately dumped across the line.
Dangerous tackle. Yeah. A whipping tackle at the end there, dangerous. Player grabs his head. I would like to see this player taken for an assessment from the field and just take the likelihood or the question mark over whether there is serious impact or not. Or the players fudging.
Kennedy. Dale. Goes short. Liberatore. Just chipping it around. Through the middle. A little bit of a dance step from Williams. Sold a bit of candy, then floats one to the top of the square. Norton, clever tap towards Treloar. Then it was too quick for Darcy. Burns chucked it out to Caminiti. And then Webster's little toe poke. Clearing for now. Windhager with work to do. McRae in the phone box and out.
Could already see Sam Darcy trying to get to the back of Caminiti, his opponent, trying to use his height there. But Caminiti, it's brave to play in front of Darcy, but it does take away that big jump.
Windhager busy on Bontempelli. First inside 50 for the Dogs. Norton in the ruck against Marshall, who doesn't show him a great deal of respect. Grabs it out, wobbles it forward. Williams takes the mark.
So Williams hesitates and then pops it to the hop spot. It goes. Bontempelli caught out in the end. Wilkie with the fist. Stocker scrapping for it. Harassed by West. Takes it to ground. Umpire wants it.
It's interesting now for Tim English, because Marshall's getting back to help defensively on the tools, and Darcy and Norton. English has free run.
Wobbled out of defence. And just seen across the line from Luke Cleary.
So we just saw English. He charged to about 35-40 from goal. They've got to see that and say, Marshall's going deep. Let's pick off the ruckman. Make him accountable.
Clark clearing the congestion. Steele sold a bit of candy on the spot and then probes it down the wing, looking for Keeler off hands. Butler's hovering, grabbing at O'Donnell, and he takes it out in the end. Little bit of niggle there, little bit of niggle, little bit of feeling early on in this.
Yeah, not happy with the Dan Butler tackle there.
Bowlers and stands Wanganeen Miller up off the contest. English grabs it out to Kennedy. Looks to be moving okay. Edges the ball forward. Wilkie, premier defender, in front of Karmas.
So you can see the Saints going one-on-one around the stoppage, and they just all went defensive side and charged through. Bontempelli just orchestrating the lot.
So the Saints with a couple of early scores. English at the back once again. Marshall thumps it on the boot. How will the umpire see this one? Insufficient.
That's on 5. Play on.
So Dale brings it back into play towards half forward, and there's the towering grab of Marshall.
And he's getting back, so they've got to be better with that. English is 30 metres, just that short hit-up pass, and they can bypass Marshall, whose sole objective is to assist on Darcy.
David King, Jack Rewald, Eddie Betts, Brad Johnson, Thursday night footy on Fox. Wanganeen Miller up. It's an aggressive kick. They turn it over. The Dogs bang it back inside. And Stocker runs back, covers territory, spreads it out wide to Burns.
So just a little bit stagnant off half back here at the moment as Burns flirts with the boundary line, was looking for the tall timber, who tried to keep it in play in Marshall but didn't.
An early sign as well, Aaron Norton. He's already off the ground, so they're trying to get a spell through there, and you can see the tag, Windhager versus Bontempelli, not giving him any space.
English to advantage. Dolan overruns it. There is Windhager. Webster immediately caught.
Thanks, Tom. Just leave it.
So with Norton on the bench early, maybe that is a sign of Sam Darcy coming back in. Norton gets an extra spell.
English only as far as Hall. Quick hands towards Burns. Uses his body well. Got a possession away, but only as far as Dale. Coming through hard, Sanders. His handball towards Dale. Threw him under the bus. Liberatore, McNeil, Dolan. Couldn't get boot to ball. Had a bit of a fresh airing under pressure. Picked up by Burns. Clearing kick outside D50. Cut off by Williams.
Immediately punches it forward. Dogs looking to press. Bailey to Bailey. Piercing ball. Darcy! Good grab. And the footy world smiles.
Oh, how easy was that? Geez, timed that lead absolutely spot on. And in the end, he had no play on the ball, Caminiti. Just have a look at this for supply and service. That is perfect.
Missed just 6 games, avoided surgery, back in the big time, gets it a touch narrow, but looks to be moving well.
And if you let Bailey Dale roam around, he's already had 9 disposals. He will set this game up for the Dogs.
So, some early chances for both sides as Wanganeen Miller has a little gallop outside of the square. Has plenty of time out to Sinclair. Sinclair down the line, over the head of Davidson and co. Grabbed by Fraser. As Davidson brings it back into play, McNeil inside 50 on his own.
Yeah, and that's the lowering of the eyes we're talking about. They've had options 40 to 50 from goal open for the first 10 minutes of this game, and that's the first time. The youngster just lowered his eyes and said, there it is. They're all dropping back to help on the tools.
So, set shot this time for Lockie McNeil. Arguably his best season last year. He's going to sit this up right on the line and through for a behind.
Kingy, you said at the start you wanted to see Windhager on Dale. He's already had 9 disposals. We saw him nearly bring up the half-ton a couple of weeks ago. Are you doing anything different to what they're doing at the moment?
Well, Windhager's gone to Bontempelli, and Bont hasn't touched the ball yet, so you'd have to say it's a big win for the Saints, but Dale's running right.
Jones, Richards, good tackle, managed to get it free. The penalty comes.
So Richards called to play on wobbly one, doesn't matter. English.
And there it is. It just sometimes takes a little while for the guns of the game to just recognise what's happening. So the opposition ruckman rolling right back to the top of the square, and they said, okay, he's got to be free. Good play. He's got to be free somewhere, English, and they found him.
Plays on quickly to Buku Kabas, who's kicked 10 goals this year. He's closer, but the angle a little bit more acute. So Kabas sets himself, takes his time, round the corner, crowd behind the goals, love it, first goal on a Thursday night, Buku Kabas.
So already Dogs dominating marks inside 50. Re-entry again. Great tackle from Ed Richards just to get it into Tim English. So important.
So look at this. So there's English. He's going to roll inside the forward 50. The opposition ruckman, they're generally rolling back to help the deeper tall targets, and they just get caught out. Really clever play from English to drop into that little spot, that little hole.
Yeah, and I love this as well, sharing the load. So better shot. Tim English obviously 40 metres out on the boundary. This is a sign of the Bulldogs evolving as a forward line. Sam Darcy comes back, could potentially draw the ball, but it gives you a 1-2 punch. You got Darcy there as a bailout, but you're also going to have plenty of other options, and already we've started to see them, and it is causing that man there headaches.
Hunter Clark standing beside Bailey Dale at the reset. Keep an eye on that matchup. Marshall wobbles it forward. Here is there. Just gets out of his hands towards Owens. Somehow managed to wobble it forward. Nice pick up too. Dished out wide by Sharman, coming in his haul.
This is the chance for the Saints to lock the ball in there. D50, or in their forward 50, sorry. 8-3 already inside 50s. It's been a domination early by the Dogs.
Keeler tapped it down. Bontempelli had hands to it. Richards scrubs it along the ground. Ward sizes them up. Snap round the corner. He has shaped it to the right. Another chance goes begging for the Saints.
Roy Lobbing game 1-8-9.
Aaron Norton on the ground. Sam Darcy having his first rest of this game.
Takes it out to the city side. Here is Norton. He's caught behind. It's a spoil on Stocker. Wood back to Wilkie. Clark. Aggressive ball. And in front of Travalia, picks it up nicely, the young man. And he's got an area in the pocket, but coming back was O'Donnell, just in front of Sharman, affected the spoil.
Yeah, the kick just didn't have enough on it there to get over the top to Sharman. He led back nicely. The Saints using the ball through the middle. They're extremely dangerous. Dogs defence breaks down there. They want to be doing more of that to challenge the Bulldogs inside 50.
Another foray forward for the Saints as we head towards the halfway mark of the first quarter. Shallow throw in. English pats it down as a result. Jones grabbed. Out he goes to Windhager. Steps around, centres it lob. Too good.
Deep in defence, lob. Piercing ball. Wilkie will arrive at the contest a touch late.
Yeah. He's been held for the best part of 15 minutes so far. He's got away with a few Windhagen. I don't mind testing the boundaries early with the umpiring. First time he's been pulled up.
We saw Langdon do it on Dacos and eventually start to get pulled up. So Bontempelli, he's happy to switch the ball. It's a long piercing kick and the Dogs are away.
First touch for the Bont tonight. Cleary palms it off. McDonald down the line. McNeil. So good, crisp movement of the football so far. It's a flat point now, though. McNeil has to sky one. 2-on-2. Richards couldn't drag it down. Clark grabbed in a two-man tackle. Umpire wants it.
We spoke about Tim English. His work rate doesn't touch the ball in that passage of play, but he opened up the space for the Bulldogs to get the ball into their own forward line.
Dogs press again. Hill. Sinclair. Screws it out of defence. Spoil comes from behind. Again, Sharman.
So Hunter Clark is the one. He's the one pushing up into the contest for St Kilda. He's the high half forward going right up around the ball. That's what's allowing Bailey Dale to play free behind.
Yeah, which, Jono, at this stage seems like an awful tactic of what it's allowing the Dogs.
Because it allows Williams to then come up and be assertive as well, Kingy.
Richards probes one towards Bontempelli. Down they go. There was collateral damage. McNeil, and then West finds Sanders. Caminiti slow to pick himself up.
Well, it wasn't Darcy and it wasn't Norton. It was Bontempelli in that aerial contest. He was the one with the conglomerate of Saints that came in and brought the ball to ground. And then great team play just around the corner. Very good from Riley West.
So Sanders made his debut in the first round last year, played 14 matches. He's played 12 this year, comes in at point blank and makes no mistake for the second goal for the Doggies.
Well, it's simple. If the game lives in contest, it's a Western Bulldogs game. Once it gets to the outside and the Saints can work the ball and use the space and work to the open side and play a bit of counter punch in a methodical sense, it'll suit St Kilda. But this here, in the trenches, this is what the Dogs do well. Inside to out, best team in the competition at that. Look at Bontempelli, just takes all the trauma there, takes 3 bodies down. What a leader.
So off the back of that and the free kick that Windhager's given away on the half-back flank here against Bontempelli in a marking contest, I reckon it's time to get Bontempelli forward. Isolate him. He's taller than Windhager. It gives him a chance to be in the air, and that's where he can beat Windhager.
Darcy into the ruck. Jones steams through. Good hands. Long ball forward off the boot of Steele. Keeler. Higgins.
And you feel for Ross Lyne because that there by design in this list build is meant for Max King. So what Darcy's doing upon return for the Dogs, they haven't had that luxury, the Saints.
Throw in. Keeler and Darcy. Keeler bunts it down. Burns went without it. Clark. Centering ball. It was a low percentage play in the end, and Dale finds Cleary, who kicks it out towards Davidson and spoiled by Webster.
Really good defence there from Jimmy Webster. It's that one as a half-back. You've got to be so aware when the ball turns over like that. You've got to be on the outlet, and he was right there.
They've got to do something about Bailey Dale. He's had 10 now. You see him off the back of stoppage here. He's lurking. He's got Hall next to him, but I guarantee he ain't picking him up.
Darcy in the ruck. Clark. High ball. Big fish from O'Donnell. A really good start to the season. Spills out Butler for last week. Back by hand. Wanganeen Miller makes a little bit of space. Forward to hit Higgins. I think it was the zinger, and he nailed him.
And that's the beauty of a player with the dare and the healthy football arrogance that this man has. We love it. Messiah the Messiah. He steps one way, comes back the other, and here goes, here go.
Plays on. And he misses from 30 out, no angle.
Oh. He's just 3 or 4 games away from All-Australian. 3 or 4 big ones, Jack. Capitalise on those.
He's 9 off the Coleman as well, with Cameron on 38. Higgins on 29 at the moment. To the wing. Sinclair in there. Dolan on hands and knees. Over the top, Liberatore. Ball it up.
So what are you doing with Bailey Dale, Kingy?
Oh, I'm just putting a half-forward tag on him now. I mean, you tried it. It didn't work. Dale's come to the bench for his first break.
With 10 possessions under his belt. congestion. Good tackle applied by Hall.
And that's important too, not to let it to get outside to where Bailey Dale would be if he wasn't on the bench. You've got to make sure that you work at the coalface in the contest, and your tackling like that doesn't allow the Bulldogs outside run.
A lot of players ahead of Webster, right in the middle of Marvel Stadium. Lead comes from Keeler. He's dropping back in the hole. Unopposed was Riley Sanders.
It's a good point, Jack. That's what Hawthorn did last week. They hunted the body after losing the initial clearance.
Stay with him. Vandermeer. Move it on. Play on. Kick to the congestion. There he is. Wanganeen Miller. Not just the kicking good, but the marking superb kick let him down that time. Cut off by McNeil. Called to play on. Doesn't know what to do. First he was indecisive, then he wasn't sure. Comes laterally towards Williams and then goes short to Liberatore. He's got Vandermeer calling for it. He kicks inside 50. English in from the side. Kennedy dispossessed, throwing it on the boot, Wilkie, but it's only going to be as far as Williams.
And a fair bit of it early. There's the number 34. Another inside 50 ball on the stretch. 3.9 metres, Kingy, you're telling me, and somehow they managed to bring it to ground.
Yeah, I dare say there's a little bit of arm in that spoil as well. He's at full extension, look at that. He's chopped the left arm. The umpire's got to see that. There's no one can go with this man when he extends like that.
Especially with the kick there as well that went inside. You just need to kick it out in front of him. The 3.9 vertically, he also comes out, and that's where you start to get free kicks of chopping the arm. Should have been one there.
Just a blood rule for Josh Jolan off the ground for the Dogs.
Scrap for it, 40 metres out from goal. Comes out to English somehow. He was grabbed. Trevelyan, he got rid of it. Treloar goes in, whistle. Free kick StKilda.
See, they're doing a good job of the clearances. They're really fighting the fight as a midfield group. That's 13-5 now in favour of the Saints. It's got to get some sort of reward.
Fourth disposal from McRae against his former side.
And that was the plot that Cal Wilkie described that was pre-game. Kingy was in around. They must do what Hawthorn did around clearance to take control of this game.
Good run out of defence. He misses the kick. That's the last couple he's missed. Unusual for Wanganeen Miller. Affects the turnover. West chips it forward to Treloar. Kick and a half from home. Got options in the centre. Hangs up for a while. Gets to Fraser. Plays on. He's a long kick of the football. Lines up the sticks from 48. Put her in your book. Fraser on the board. Dogs free early.
Well, the Dogs, as much as they're getting beat at clearance, it's the turnover game and the forward turnover game as well. Just another turnover that resulted in a re-entry. The best kick at StKilda, that's 2 in a row, Harry, as you mentioned, that he's missed, and it resulted in a really prime opportunity for the Bulldogs to go back the other way. This man here, Bailey Williams, is having fantastic. This is that kick that David King is talking about. I know it's not inside 50, but all the StKilda backs are getting back to Darcy. It opens it up, play on, and thank you very much from 50, Joel Fraser. What a great finish.
Well, he's got the zinger, the stinger, and also the stinker. That was a stinker from Nash. I mean, just really aggressive. I mean, that's as small percentage as you get back in the corridor like that.
Very good, Kingy.
Bontempelli funnels it to Liberatore. Hangs one out for Richards. Richards quickly spears one towards Darcy. Did he rake it in? Umpire says no.
Such a focal point up forward, isn't he? Your eyes are drawn to him. No. Hit the turf. Norton tries to burst through the pack. Little roller. Wanganeen Miller to Burns. Important exit ball out. Bailey Williams time and time again. He's been able to intercept the ball, kill the ball. He's done it again there.
And it's the flow-on effect when you don't play 6 forwards, which the Saints aren't doing at the moment. Brad Johnson's already rightly mentioned it. The Dale is free and it allows Bailey Williams to be proactive, and that is why it's deja vu out of the Saints' back half, and Bailey Williams is the man stopping the exit again.
Windhager got it clear somehow to Hall, and then Burns grabs. No decision on that one. Dale's quick kick cut off by Wanganeen Millerer. Next kick important here. He's put in a couple of shockers. That one's better to Sinclair. Sinclair wants to get on with it quickly and does to Wilkie. Out to Stocker. Stocker's kick towards half forward. Higgins has Cleary to beat and lob, but Cleary picked his pocket. Looking for Bramble. Owen's there for help. That's a throw. Free kick to the Bulldogs.
Dogs plus 6, 14 8 on inside 50s. Dale's had 11, Sinclair 10.
Saints fans not happy there.
Bramble, the former Hawk, towards Norton on the wing. Bontempelli, strong contested mark for the 6-time All-Australian. It's a booming kick forward, looking for West. Used the body well. Sinclair infringed. He played it really well, West. Ran up, initiated the contact and took the free.
Yeah, it's the positive of being in the back position.
West looking for Darcy. Too hot for him. Dolan at the back. Can he scoop it up? Can he pick it up? He can. Threw his boot at it. And across the face, out of bounds.
Thought he might have had the little handball to Tim English there, Dolan, but he was the one out the back of the Darcy contest, floated over the top like that.
I think he's taken the late Robert Walls' advice, never handball to a ruckman too far. That was on there, no doubt, Jack. A little pop handball. They just can't find a target here. The Dogs behind the ball are denying any uncontested marking from the Saints. It's been difficult to move the ball.
Under pressure, Wanganeen Millerer out of bounds on the full. Jones brings a bit of run. Now Hall.
Here we go.
Launches forward. All the way out the back is Higgins. Rolls in. Turns. Dribbles it home. Much needed for the Saints, and Jack's on the board.
I tell you what, if back to goal was an Olympic sport, he'd represent Australia. This guy, I love it. I love it. He sniffs a turnover and he's gone. You'll see this on replay. As soon as the ball's kicked, he takes off. He says, well, I can't really influence the play. I'm 50 metres off ball. The defender just naps for a heartbeat and it's over. He's out and gone, 15 metres goal side. Look, as this ball's kicked, he's in motion. You'll just see him coming to screen. He's already gone. He's taken off. He hasn't done a lot wrong there. I think it's Cleary, but he's just done. It's over. That is a Jack Higgins special. What a season he's having.
It's an interesting kick, I reckon, that one into that part of the ground. It's what Damien Hardwick would refer to as the trampoline zone, because turnovers there usually result in scores from the Bulldogs back half there. Had the opportunity, a little pocket play. He was there. Darcy wasn't used.
So is that the spark to ignite the Saints? Richards, though, has a bounce, thinks about another, then weaves through, has a second bounce from 45, chipped towards the top of the square. No mark, Darcy, picked up by Wanganeen Millerer, almost cut up by Davidson. Woods harassing him. Kennedy, quick play. Richards snaps round the corner. Can Darcy mark this? No, he threw Caminiti. Darcy gets the free kick.
The front onto him, holding like that.
Bit of confusion to whose free kick it is, because it was Caminiti that hit the ground. That is a mark every day of the week for me.
Which one's on the mark? Who's on the mark?
He's done a great job to get there and fight the fight, Caminiti, but
Thank you.
at 3.9 off the ground, he can't compete.
So Sam Darcy comes in from about 20 metres out, point blank. Darcy wanders in, and for Dogs fans, Christmas comes in June.
Well, after a long injury layoff, as a key forward, that's what you want to do. He's had one sider already on the left around the corner. Took a mark that wasn't paid 30 metres out in front, and then the sky ball from the same man, Ed Richards. Now this is a mark every day of the week for me. Wasn't paid, but then from there, you don't. The disappointment of not getting this mark gets back to the top of the goal square. Ed Richards kicks it to a really predictable area, and it's a predictable area because you know if you've got Sam Darcy there, you can kick it there every day of the week. And the free kick goes back, kicks his first after 8 weeks off. The young forward to be happy.
I love Ed Richards carrying the ball. He's a different player when he tucks it under the arm and takes a bounce or two. What a weapon.
4-1 the way of the Dogs. Bontempelli looks to extract it. Windhager gives him no room to move. Forced to steal. Now the smooth move of Bradley Hill. Sides it forward towards Owens, O'Donnell. StKilda fans starting to get a bit edgy out there. And a low ground ball from Cleary. Comes back to Libber, who just bombs it out towards the outer wing. And Stocker takes a good mark. Defensive side of the wing and immediately spreads.
To Wanganeen Miller. Last minute of play in this first term. Wilkie.
I get the feeling Bailey Dale's disappointed about not getting 50 disposals a month ago. He's hunting it again now. He's up to 12.
Burns, his kick attracts a crowd. Big fist from O'Donnell, good enough to clear the area.
So the Saints halfbackers are racking it as well at the moment. Wanganeen Miller at 12, Sinclair 10, just not getting a lot of that ball's back half, like behind centre. They want them centre forward using the ball inside 50.
Marshall down towards Hall. Marshall again.
Goal kickers for the Dogs: Sanders, Darcy, Cummins and Fraser. English wrapped up again.
An important one here as we head into quarter time is that St Kilda have gone back to 6 forwards, so maybe that's to try and shut the run of Bailey Dale out.
To ground it goes again. Steele attempting to get it out. Kennedy did get it out. Sanders, Richards, time's going to beat them.
Quarter time here at Marble. The Dogs kick the first three before Higgins replied. They lead it, the Western Bulldogs 4-2-26 to the Saints 1-4-10 by 16 points. Tomorrow night we head down to Tasmania. Hawthorn take on Adelaide. Two form teams of the competition, and covering that will be Gary Lyon amongst others. And congratulations to Gary, inducted into the Australian Football Hall of Fame.
All right, there we go. It's quarter time here at Marvel Stadium. I tell you what, it's a hot night. 6 degrees Celsius in Melbourne. Go Dogs. A good first quarter. Ed Richards is a superstar. I tell you what, they will. The Saints will be very happy where they are at the moment. 1 goal for. They need some kicking practice. I don't know if they're allowing for the wind, but they forgot the roof is shut. There is no wind at Marvel Stadium. It's the perfect ground for kicking. The Bulldogs 4-2-26, 1-4-10, 16-point leaders here at quarter time. The Bulldogs 6, so hot. I know. I tell you what, it's that hot. You got to put a jumper on. You got to put your socks on. You got to put your ski stuff on just to keep warm. Yeah, Darcy. What's his name? Darcy. Sam Darcy. Well, he got a beautiful free kick. It was no free kick. The worst free kick I've seen in my life of football. But the thing is, the umpire missed a mark. He marked the ball, and he wasn't paid the mark, so he had to make up for it in any shape or form he could, the umpire, so he gave him a free kick that just was not there. These umpires, I tell you what, bring the VFL umpires up, because that one is absolutely woeful. Quarter time, though, I tell you what, as I said before, the Saints will be pretty happy where they sit, only 16 points adrift. So many turnovers, the Saints. The Dogs, well, the Dogs, they just look the better side. They're definitely cleaner. Their forward line looks to be working a bit better than St Kilda, from my eye. So I think the Dogs will be actually pretty disappointed that they're only 16 points up at quarter time. What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Will? What do you reckon? Do you think the Doggies should be further in front? I think they've had more opportunities, haven't they? That's what it looks like. I think... the Saints get it back down there, but then there's just a lot of turnovers, rebound ball by the Doggies, and they're doing well. David, how you going? It's going to be a smashing... Yeah, I don't know. If the Saints get a little bit of a run, you just never know. But, to me, just by watching a bit of it, the Dogs just look a lot better side, and I think if they get everything correct, I think it could be a little bit of a shellacking. But you never know. 16 points. This game really feels like it should be like 4 or 5 goals at the moment, but it's not. If you're a Western Bulldog supporter, chat comment either. There we go. and we're okay with scoring, but got to up our clearances. That's it. Salvo Saints to receive ump donations soon. Tell you what, they're a little bit like the Salvo Saints. Hey, Will, let me know, is this a pretty a full squad for the Bulldogs, or are they missing any stars? Because to me, from what I see, not being a Bulldog supporter, they look like to have a pretty strong squad in today. You know, they got the Bont and they got Darcy back and all those fellas and Libber that's firing every week. This is an absolute ring-a-ding-ding squad. That's what I was saying. This is what I was saying. The Bulldogs, if they get their game going, and of course they've got the second half of the season, if they've got the full squad to get everything cherry ripe and well tuned, come for a run at the finals. No doubt. Surely there's no doubt the Dogs will be in the top 8 at some part, and they'll stay there. They're just too good a side. They've got some superstar players there, and I think they're definitely a better chance. That's what I'm saying. I think they're a danger side to all the teams, ranging from 2nd to 8th on the ladder. Shut up. Maybe not the Pies. Well, maybe the Pies, but I tell you what. From what I see out here, the pressure isn't overly brilliant either, I don't think. They didn't show the pressure gauge at all. Yeah, we've got an awesome lineup. Just got to get the ramp. That's exactly right. I think if they can get their silky smooth doggies back and everything working well, I think they're going to be, holy Toledo Batman, I think they're going to be a pretty tough team to beat for the teams above them. I think one thing they've got to lift also is their pressure. But they're playing the Saints and the good sides up top. If you don't put pressure on, you're just not, I don't think you're just going to win the big dance at the end of the season. It's just a pressure, and you've got to have that up. Riley Sanders, Kumas, Frazier and Sam Darcy, the goal scorers there for the woof doggies. Jack Higgins, there we go. They've gone to him a little bit, but what a beautiful run he did from half back all the way to the goal line to kick that goal for the Saints. That is it. Disposal getters. Let's have a look at the ball magnets. Wanganeen Miller for the Saints, the star Saint. Well, I'll tell you what, he's had a couple of missed kicks, turnovers. It's cost the Saints 12. Bailey Dale, 12 for the Doggies. Sinclair on 10. The rest all under that. Let me just roll down a little bit. Libber on 6. Expecting a good game from him tonight. I'm not sure, did I come against... I think the Bomp was pretty quiet in that opening term, but he got into it late, so that was all right. We're going to head back down to the ground in just a minute. I'll just roll through here, just in case anyone pauses, or if you can pause, you can have a look at your players, or anyone watching the replay can have a look at the stats at quarter time. Where's the Bont? There's the Bont. 3 touches, 2 kicks and a handball, 1 clearance. Sam Darcy, 3 touches... 2 kicks, 1 handball, 1 goal, 1. Great to see him back out on the ground. He just looked a little bit rusty in that opening term. Let's see him get back into action. Let's head back down to the ground. It's the Dogs by 16.
With their ball movement, and the Dogs are just flat chat.
16 points the margin into the second quarter. Slammed into the turf. They nullify each other. Bontempelli trying to tap it to his advantage. Windhager had him. English back to Kennedy. Kennedy's wobbly one inside 50. Met first by Stocker. Sinclair along the ground. Wood couldn't control it. Came out to Caminiti. Wanganeen Miller. Little darting ball. It's a good ball too to steady the ship.
That was the stinger.
Steele just eases the ball forward to the hard-running Mason Wood.
Gee, I take my hat off to what Marcus Windhager's been able to do so far.
Driving ball down the line. Owens just out of his hands. McRae back to Clark. Wobbles the ball inside. Keeler, Higgins. Keeler does well, the big fella at ground level. Across to Sharman. Screwing ball right to the top of the square. Owens is outnumbered. And it's fisted through from behind.
So they're here on the wing in front of us. Bontempelli look versus Windhager. Have a look at him. He is all over him. You might as well whack a saddle on. Have a look at this. This is terrific. This is what a tagger should do. He's kept him to 4 touches so far in this match. And if he gets a couple of midfielders to come with him with his intensity, Marcus, we might be in for a game.
Bramble and Frazier working in concert inside D50 with Williams. Frazier now thinks about corridor. Spreads it wider to Lobb. Lob's kick in the Bontempelli direction. Taken away from it. Saints now with Marshall. McRae against the old mob. Towards the square. Owens back with the flight of the ball. Bramble, last man there.
This is off immediately to Bailey. Dale coming up for possession number 13. And he gets the overlap, so he'll pick up another one. Takes a casual bounce running through centre half back in a second. Time to burn to Williams. Also a little bounce. Long ball out towards McNeil. Does well to mark in front of Sinclair.
McNeil. Along the line he goes west, but coming through, charging at the ball was Wilkie. That was emphatic back in the McNeil direction. Went the fist over the top of him. Kennedy retreats back to Williams off a standing start. Just dumps it on the boots. And out the back to Wilkie. Stocker. His handball to no one in particular and out.
I'd love to see the ball come to the other side of the ground. Just as soon as you get that transition, or as soon as you get that intercept, just start your transition and challenge the Bulldogs defensively. Come to this side of the ground and try and expose their run.
26 disposals between the two Baileys, Dale and Williams. Libber just wheels the ball into the middle of Marvel. Higgins backs off it, opens it up for Webster. Brilliant from Fraser, just sort of picked it up off his boot. Sends it deep forward. Bontempelli's trying to drag the defender back there. Falls to Norton, gets a little toe poke on it. And Norton's on the board as well.
That was unbelievable. In the middle of the ground, Fraser with a little toe tapper off the ground. It was like the Irish Gaelic rules, a little jig. Just kicked it up into his hands and kept going at full speed. That was brilliant play. I haven't seen him do this before, and good for Norton to get involved. The ball it's a dangerous ball. Whoever wins this is likely to get a high quality inside forward 50. Have a look at this. Just a little bop, bop, up into the hand. Brilliant play. And a dangerous deep forward 50 inside 50, entry. Good body work. They're just too strong. They're just too good.
Bontempelli working forward there on the tag, and Windhager, we're seeing him in a few more aerial contests, but I love this from Aaron Norton. It has been the tough task of Cal Wilkie, the All-Australian defender, but to push him out of the way there and get one could spark Aaron Norton.
Picked 3 against them last time and 6 against them last year. Treloar along the ground, but it's held up by Wanganeen Miller.
Back here, boys. And he tries to grab it out of the ruck and feigns that he's trying to get rid of the football.
So the Saints are freed. Wanganeen Miller up behind the ball.
Marshall. Craig can't clear.
English slaps it to Richards. Liberatore tried to get it to Sanders. Cut off by Steele. Tried to give it to Clark on hands and knees. Scrappy bit of football here. Treloar grabbed by Wood. Got it to Liberatore. Broke free. Skies one towards the top of the square, and Darcy with a couple to beat. Caminiti did pretty well. Wanganeen Miller are off the ground, only as far as Vandermeer. Retreats back to Bramble, who gives ground to Williams.
Got Fraser inboard. Looked there momentarily. Another inside 50 for Williams to a dangerous area. Bontempelli bounced off his chest. Treloar didn't quite get the contact he was after. Richards did. They just keep coming and coming and coming to the Dogs. And they kick their second of the term.
This is what it does when you've got an absolute superstar power forward. He draws all the heat, does Darcy. Everyone's worried about the contested marker elevating. Look at the traffic he draws. He draws 3. They're all trying to spoil, all trying to do the right thing, and it just leaves a host of Dogs at ground level. If Darcy's not playing, that's Norton. You're probably getting 2 fly, not 4.
The worrying signs for the Saints is 3 Bulldogs inside 50. I think there's a couple of players at the contest. Their hand to foot by Ed Richards is why he is the #1 player in the competition. But look at that, Ed Richards free ahead of the ball. Sanders free ahead of the ball. Riley West not being manned up. That's opportunity, opportunity, opportunity.
About the Norton, just kick off the back of the boot there. Didn't mean it, but it was worth so much. 27 points is the buffer now. Liberatore hits it hard. Davidson gets rid of it. English weaving through the pack. Gets it to Kennedy. Kennedy spearing ball to Vandermeer. Vandermeer with a long boot towards the Darcy direction and the Norton direction.
Yeah.
Norton's marked it.
That is perfection. If you want to find the Western Bulldogs game in a nutshell, that's it. Win it inside traffic, 3, 4, 5 handballs to get to the outside, get the game at speed, high quality entry. He was either going to mark it or draw a free kick. Luke Beveridge would love that passage of play.
So Norton coming in for his seconds and puts it through, and they're putting the foot down.
Well, Aaron Norton's been struggling a little bit of late, and Sam Darcy comes back in. You think where his opportunity is going to come from? He's got a sneaky opportunity on the goal line using his body, and here just the ability to get to the back of Cam Wilkie, and this movement off the back half that David King is talking about. This is a forward's dream, an absolute forward's dream to roll and go there from Vandermeer, and you can see just in the background, gets to the back position and launches at the ball. That's important, just that little launch there. Now, I know it's not 3.4 metres, but still, that is Aaron Norton at his best.
Forward's dream, why?
And this is the other thing, the Saints wingers are starting to play more defensive. They are feeling the pressure inside, and it's hurting them outside too.
English, Marshall, Windhager with the job on Bontempelli to Sinclair. Metres gain, impressive in the first quarter. Keeler on the stretch. Something for the Saints.
Yeah, and it's all going to revolve around Nasiah Wanganeen-Miller and Jack Sinclair. I mean, that is just pure ball use. I guess that's the arm wrestle that goes on at match committee. Do we use Sinclair as a centre bounce player or as a half-back flanker? And I know it's a half-back's world at the moment. And have to look at the stat sheet to work that out. Up to a dozen touches now, Jack. This will be his 4th score involvement.
First kick of the night for Keeler. 6 goals in his 6 games this season. How his side desperately need him to be accurate. The number 17. And he rolls it home. Much needed. They break a run of 4 straight to the Saints.
Yeah, much needed for the Saints. And a lot's been made of Max King and the fact that he hasn't been out there for the StKilda Football Club. But it gives this man the opportunity. We think, King, that he's got some really special athletic traits. Playing on a very good player, Rory Lobb. Just a little duck back lead there. Lobb playing out in front, trying to predict where the ball's going to go. A shift from the kicker, kicks across the body, Sinclair. That's what really good kicks do. This man Keeler went against the grain. Everybody went to the left. He was the one that went to the right. This is really good game time for him, and he gets an important goal for St Kilda. They need to go again here now.
Pick 44 from the 2022 draft. He's a smooth mover. I tell you what, another couple of solid pre-seasons. This guy, he just could explode, Jack. He's one of those that you feel is going to be more than a tease. He's just going to get it done at some point in his career.
Very much impressed at VFL level last year. Marshall to Windhager. Steele almost had his pocket pick. Darcy off the deck, which was pretty good in the end. McNeil to West. He was grabbed. Holding the football. Saints lifting.
Well, for all the good work that Riley West did in the first quarter to square one up, he had a couple of handballs there, just needed to give it. Buku Kamas running into an open goal. Riley tries to break the tackle. The easy handball was on.
Travali, big 8 in last year's draft. Just finding his way in his AFL career. Darcy, Marshall threw his hands away. And again, the height of Darcy, the athleticism concerning the Saints. Was going to go on the right, then just sends it in on the left towards Norton. Caminiti, not sure how he got rid of it. Just the skill of Darcy to be able to shape it that size to get back on your left. You just don't see it.
Yeah, it's unicorn-like, that's what it is. There's not many players, if any, in the competition other than Sam Darcy at his height. Well, there's no one really at his height that can do what he's doing. And you can see his eyes for Aaron Norton straight away. Great contest by Aaron Norton. And then Caminiti caught in about 3 minds, I think. Didn't know where that handball was going to go. The forward pressure of the third tall. We're going to call Buku Kamas the third tall. He needs to make the most of this opportunity. He's got one already.
10 goals for the season. 10 goals came in the last 6 games. He's already kicked one tonight. Kamas shapes it nicely. Buku, how about that? Quick response, he's got a couple.
Well, Darcy is always going to be the talking point coming into tonight, but we wondered whether he'd be used as a second ruck. Now, he has gone to the ruck, and here he is. You can see Marshall panicking about what he was likely to do, flying early, worried about the aerial prowess of the great man. And he just says, OK, I'm not going to go this way. I'm just going to move the man on the mark, open up a little window. He's got all the skills, all the tools. That's great conversion from Buku Karmas from there. 12 goals, 3 for the season.
Good shape on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
As much as Riley West misses that handball before, he was the one that blocked there in the back to free up Aaron Norton. That's a great team play.
Couple of disposals, but a real highlight there. Trelaw off the ground, Burns against Norton.
Yeah.
And it's going to Norton for holding.
Downfield, Pont's filthy.
Let's give it to him now.
So Norton called to play on, speared it to Sanders, down to Bontempelli from 51. Kicks a long ball towards goal. Gee, it almost curled back around.
Had a little bit of fade on it there from the Bulldogs captain. You can see just trying to use the man on the mark to separate himself from the tag from Windhager, find the body, go to the opposite side. The first one was on from Norton, still got the one from Sanders. He's got to make, this might be a night for Marcus Bontempelli. 15 touches, but they've all got to be forward to centre and damaging.
Really clever how he used the man on the mark to get separation, wasn't it, on Windhager, and his teammates supported him with the bump. Good mark again, Williams. Looks a bit sore there, just Bontempelli.
One for his troubles.
He just wore one, then he ran back into a boot.
Yeah, right in front of us here, Kingy and Jack. Yeah, copped a good one. The body contact was quite strong there on the Bont.
Cleary in the middle of the bramble. One step at the moment. He's happy to just continue around to the outer side to O'Donnell. He completes it all the way out to Rory Lobb. Here's the important one, inside 50 towards Darcy! 3.9, unstoppable!
Well, it is, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. If you can just kick it favoured side, it's over.
He didn't jump.
He didn't have to.
He just stuck his hands up and said, thank you very much. This is the hit on Bontempelli, and right in the sternum there from Sharman. And Bont did not look good coming off the ground. You can see in the bottom right of screen there, he's up and going, but that was he's going to go downstairs. That was a big hit on the Bulldogs captain.
Darcy lining up for a second. A young star of the competition. From 30 out, gets underneath at a touch.
Well, if this is what the Dogs are going to look like in the second half of the year, they may just send the competition a message tonight.
Incidentally, Cooper Hines starting sub for Western Bulldogs. Jack Carroll for the Saints. Wilkie to Stocker. Wanganeen Miller are charging along the wing. Look at him go with 2 bounces. The speed, 3 bounces. Then ran himself into a brick wall. Ball ricocheted off the bonds of McRae and off the slingshot. It is Trelaw. And now Vandermeer, and here come the Dogs again.
Got the overlap runners. Trelaw again. Second possession in the chain. Measures it to Darcy. You just can't see another player that has this much influence on the team's fortunes when he comes in.
Yeah, and you talk about the height, but the work rate there from Darcy to get forward. He just saw an opportunity as the turnover happened, and he thought, I am just going to get on my bike. And it was Zach Jones. He was the one that was chasing him, could not catch, didn't even gain a metre. And he was running unopposed inside forward 50. This is the part of the game that if he nails, it's a big night.
Already had 3 shots. He's kicked 1. Just missed one moments ago, Darcy. Perfect. He's got 2. And he's back and he's in business, and it's fantastic for footy, unless you're a Saints fan.
He really is a unicorn, isn't he? No one has an asset like him to be able to go into the ruck and dominate, but also then to push forward. You can see him here sitting up the contest and just go, go, go.
Just have a look at how close to the ball Zach Jones gets on the spoiling attempt. I reckon he's lucky to touch his armpits. It does not get near. When the big man extends, it's over. And the umpires will catch on that you've probably got to chop the arms to get the ball to ground. Just have a look here. Up, gone, done. Doesn't matter who it is. What a luxury to be bringing back in. I know it wasn't by design, but at this stage of the season, round 14.
We just see the hit on Marcus Bontempelli again in the ribs. Cooper Hines has just increased his warm-ups at ground level as we wait for an assessment on Marcus Bontempelli.
Took a big one in the ribs, Jono. There's some tears, Jono, down there.
Meanwhile, Liberatore has the football. Onto the left, penetrating ball inside 50. Wood at the back with an emphatic grab.
Very short, effectively to McRae. True centre half back, called to go now. He's happy to just lay off wide to Wilkie, marks in front of Karmas. Well, that's good news.
He's arisen.
Okay, yep. Little pat, he looks sweet, the champ. Back to McRae.
Just look how hard this is. The Dogs defensively they've put a grid to the ground. It's really tough to find any meaningful uncontested marking options, and even then they're almost certainly having to go back.
And they give you that one so they can squeeze you and force you along.
Steele to the congestion, lob in the middle. Goes the fist, was patted out to Hill. Hill who can run fast. Out he goes to McRae. Scooped it in with the one hand. Centering ball. This looks better for the Saints. Sharman.
Well, for everything that the Bulldogs have done right, Luke Beveridge will be focusing on this, the little tap.
Healer.
Yeah. Opened it up. And from here, on an aggressive defence, Sharman was able to get out the back of O'Donnell there.
Breakout season last year, particularly at the end of 2024. Comes in from 25 metres out, keeps it low and keeps them in it.
Well, I just love the smarts of Isaac Keeler. I know I touched on him a moment ago. There's something here. You've got to tap into this young man. He's in his 7th game of AFL football, but he just reads what's happening ahead of time. So the ball's just in a static situation. He says, I know what's happening. Bang, taps it inboard. I'm giving him a lot of credit for seeing Hill on the move, but I think he understood the opportunity that was there. Let's be aggressive. Let's knock it back in. And that's great play to centre the ball there from Jack McRae. Look at that tap.
Yeah, and Adam Treloar was the one. You can see his head bobbing there and screen. Saw Jack Higgins got ahead of the ball there. That's why O'Donnell has to come up in this contest, and his man's out the back in Sharman. Just a breakdown in the Bulldogs' defence from the contest.
Second goal for the Saints for the term. The Dogs have kicked 5. They led it by 16 at quarter time. They're out to 35. Bontempelli back out on the ground. Good news.
Straight up.
27-14 inside 50s. It's been played in one side of the ground at the moment. The Saints need more play like that last.
Marshall. McRae.
Thanks, Tom. Good time to get up.
McRae, the last to pick himself up, played 249 games for the Dogs. 10th here as a Saint as Kennedy's gang tackled.
Early doors for the Saints. They were able to win contest 13-5, as David King stated. 16 apiece now, so the Doggies have fought back around the ball.
Marshall to Wood. Tries to spin himself out of trouble. He's gone.
Powerful players, Fraser. He kicked one tonight. Bonts had 5. Windhager's had 7. And it's all the Dogs. Here's number 6 for Bontempelli. It's inside 50. It's high. Darcy's out of position. Wanganeen Miller missed it on the fist. Sinclair at the back. Head darting. Puts it on the ground. Now to Wilkie. Riley West gets him. Gee, they were lucky to get out of that. They're still not exactly clear. Wanganeen Miller very short to Burns.
Wasn't 15 called to play on. So Burns penetrates one towards the wing. No mark brought down by Sharman. He could pick it up here. Bontempelli did really well on hands and knees, but the Saints still have the football through the middle. Quick hand Sinclair cut off. Working through there, Fraser. And also going to ground underneath the football, Clark. It still bobs up though, and Davidson has the football. Wobbles one towards centre half forward through the hands of Darcy. It's going to be a free kick to Saints, and listen to the fans.
Gaminetti breathes a sigh of relief.
Well done. It's a tough role he's got to play tonight. He knows what he's up against and still brave enough to take front position.
Webster. Chavalia loops the hand pass back to Webster. Has to kick under pressure, and as a result, Wanganeen Miller is able to beat two. Now to McRae, piercing ball forward.
Butler kicked 4 last week. He's got Wood running. The big man takes it 52 metres out. Little wonder Sharman.
Yeah, breakdown in the Bulldogs defence again. Cooper Sharman found himself free inside 50. Smart by Mason Wood as well.
Pure work rate. Jack Sharman started on the wing, on the bench side of the ground. He's worked back with the flow. Nice little flow lead. Got himself back to the goal square, darted up to take this extreme work rate.
5 disposals so far tonight. Cooper Sharman, some big breaths. Focuses in. Can he kick 2 on the bounce? This is a little bit trickier. He's going to prop it up right on the line, and eventually Bontempelli bunts it through for a rush behind.
And that's how the Saints want the game to look. Controlled, uncontested mark, play at their speed, play with a little bit of poise, a little bit of patience. Too often it's been frantic or in a contest, which favours the Dogs.
Lob elects to go right through the middle. Marshall's aware, awake. Takes a strong grab. Little patch for St Kilda in a tough turn. Back into the hands of their user, Wanganeen Miller up. Come out for his 20th disposal. 20 and a half. He's not done yet. Stocker just overruns it. Treloar, and now Darcy's in the middle.
Off the slingshot, the Dogs. Liberatore. Kennedy has to be fast. He was so slow. Holding the football. And now the Saints have a chance. Sinclair game 200. Paddles it off to Marshall. And now Windhager lines up the big sticks. And kicks a goal. 2 on the bout for the Saints.
He's having a night. Marcus Windhager. He's kept Marcus Bontempelli to 6 touches. He's been running around, getting handball receives off the back of players who've taken uncontested marks. At the moment, Marcus Bontempelli's got him on toast at the moment, Windhager. He stays involved, he stays connected with this opportunity here. He's had 8 touches and now a big goal. That's fantastic play from the young Saints on baller. Getting the job done defensively and showing the way on attack. There's a response here from the Saints.
Yeah, there is, and there needed to be. And I mean, the turnover game has been where the Bulldogs have dominated early. They get their own chance. You've got to make the most of them. They haven't come along a lot for the Saints. There's 2 in a row.
Affects the turnover with a tackle and then gets the chocolates as well. Richards, 9 disposals. Liver doubles back. Sanders has to wait. Burns just spills it at the inopportune time. Gets away from Bramble. Steele, English. Big ball to be won this. Finally a bit of momentum with the Saints. English threw his head down and he's done.
It's a bit of pinball, wasn't it? And it's gone the Saints' way. Marshall. Interesting 4.5 minutes left in this first half. Dogs by 28 after it was 16 at quarter time. Marshall in 2 minds. Spreads it wide, Wanganeen Miller. He can only go shorts. Bobbles out of the hands initially of Burns. Sinclair to the rescue. Gives ground to Caminiti. And is going to switch and give ground all the way back to Wilkie. And now goes out wide to Trevelyan.
Puts it under his arm. Progresses it forward about 50. Kennedy comes from behind. Trying to claim the mark. But not paid it. It was Cleary.
You just see one drop mark here on the half-forward side, on the other side of the ground, and the Saints got to go all the way back around to a stoppage.
Marshall catches it out of the ruck only as far as Treloar. Then Kennedy chucks it on the boot. It's good enough too to Karmas. Karmas to Vandermeer. Sinclair just a little nudge after he marked it. Nothing doing there. Fraser with the run. Kick inside 50 to Dolan. Quick movement of the football that time from the Dogs.
Yeah, good work right there from the half forwards of the Dogs. 2 of them out the back. I've been 50 that there, but you can see Richards was ahead of his man as well, Dolan as well. Norton sort of a half lead to open it up for Dolan, and great use by Fraser there. Just a crafty little touch over the top.
So the young man, Josh Dolan, looking for his second AFL goal, sends it on its way, but lucky to register a score. In fact, it didn't register a score. It hit the post on the full.
8 disposals for Fraser in this second term alone. He's had some magical moments for the Dogs.
Good defensive pressure with the big ruckman. Dogs 16 at quarter time, they're out to 28.
Just good for one head scratcher a game, the ruckman, aren't they? But what did he think English was going to do on the mark? Just disappear? They just continue to entertain.
English out of the ruck. Richards was being held before he grabbed it. Ball goes to ground. Kennedy's in there. Hall's in there for the Saints. Treloar keeps it in play. Out to Steele. Rapid fire hand pass. McRae had to go round the body. It's a sky ball. That's good enough for Owens.
Good use of the body by the number 10. He wants it down the line. We go down towards Keeler. He's battling against Lobb. Oh, Rory just assumes front position and says, I'll have that.
So just again, Owens takes 6-7 seconds to kick that ball, and he just allows the Dogs to set down the line. You can't go down the line after you've taken that length of time.
Cleary, poor kick in the end. Kicked it too short, and Wood was there all over in the front spot. Kicks it to Butler, back with the flight of the ball. Manufactured a little kick, was clever. Hill on a dime, centering one. Higgins, not quite punched away. Bontempelli goes in, along with Owens. Ball to be won. Bramble held his ground. Kick to a 50-50. Marked by West, Kennedy, and here come the Dogs with Sanders.
On the move, centre wing. Minute and a half on the clock. Sanders looks for Buku, has to wait for a long time for it to arrive. Spoils affected. Caminiti, interesting, to Marshall. They're under all sorts of pressure here, the Saints. Stocker somehow squeezes it out to Sinclair. Can't pick it up, sees it across.
It's the handball into a player that already has a man on him. See there, great spoil by O'Donnell on the last line. Higgins was sniffing another goal, smelt the turnover.
Saints playing with a little bit of belief and urgency in the last 5 minutes. Minute to go, first half. Richards, Bontempelli. Long ball to the top of the square. Norton had 2 to beat. Davidson's the last man there. Throws it on the boot and kicks a goal.
Oh, I want to see it again. I want to see Ed Richards' hands from clearance. We talk a lot about the Dogs game inside to out. This is unbelievable. He draws the traffic, he takes the tackle, and all of a sudden, as the Saints start to close in, he sets the skipper on a path. Have a look at this. Takes control of the ball, brings the traffic in, and then bang, out you go, Bont. Do some damage with that.
Good fight by Aaron Norton there. And great body use again. The Saints have been bullied forward to the ball on those ground balls.
Look at this. Takes the ball, handball. Takes the traffic. Unreal.
Once again, though, contested possession, ground balls, 1v4 in the competition, and the Dogs have had the number of the StKilda back centre forward.
6 goal to 3 term. Marshall extracts out of the middle. Fist comes from Bramble. Might work out okay for Hall. Down towards Owen, gets separation, did all the hard work, then O'Donnell arrived. Straight to Higgins, centering ball is unselfish, and good to Keeler. Rory Lobb again, he's been fantastic. Spills to Wood, should be a goal for the Saints, and it is.
Keeler's given us something. I reckon that one probably should have been a free kick against Rory Lobb. We've spoken about the height of Sam Darcy tonight, but Keeler presents something. Good work by Jack Higgins too. Just kept his feet at a critical contest. You can see here. Gets forward, Higgins. Great aerial contest by Owens. Probably should have marked that. Turnover again for StKilda. This one in the forward 50. Squares it up. That's a free kick for mine. And Mason Wood, right place as a winger. Front of the contest there for defence, but you've got to be an offensive weapon as well. And on the non-preferred for Mason Wood, a great finish.
Kingy, I heard you in commentary as well. You saw the little tap on from Keeler. It's the little smarts we're starting to see in his game.
He's a player, I think, Jono.
Frenetic last 10 minutes or so. 1-1 to Mason Wood tonight. McRae through the middle. Hall. One last chance for the Saints before half-time. Windhager. 7 seconds on the clock.
Oh, no. Rail Marshall got to him. He said, mate, stop.
Marcus Windhager, he's already kicked one in this quarter. 3 goals for the year. Some big, deep breaths to get it back to 22 at half-time. That is his assignment. He'll be kicking from 53 metres. Marcus Windhager, it's going to sit up before the line, and that will be all. So after it was 16 at quarter time, it's going to be 28 at half time.
So 16 points, as Matty said, 28 now. It was a 6-goal to 3-term. Darcy's kicked a couple on his return. Sarah, take it away.
Some ominous signs for StKilda with the Bulldogs really impressing in the opening half at Marvel Stadium. Jason Dunstall and Joey Montagna, a couple of red time goals there would have been nice for Ross Lyon. But that kick after the siren, Joey, you've got an eye on it. The players aren't doing what they should.
I just have a theory that when the siren goes, very few players are actually kicking their goals because they are also paranoid about running out and getting called play on. They all try and run straight and they all pull it. So players should know they can take 2 or 3 steps to the left of the man on the mark and still run out on that arc. And he might have been able to get the distance, but just a pet hate of mine that we were just talking about.
A watch on that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want that to cost you a win in September. All right, with thanks to Harvey Norman, we're going to have a look at some highlights. Jace, Sam Darcy, 2 goals to 4 marks. His aerial work has been superb.
Hasn't missed a beat. Probably could have 3 or 4 goals next to his name. He's only had the 8 possessions and taken 4 marks, but he's looked dangerous and he's getting his hands to everything and they're feeding off it because you know if he doesn't mark it, the ball's coming to the ground. That should have been paid a mark. I think it was a bit of a square up when he gets the free kick here because that's just a good strength battle that should have been play on, I think. But he got the free kick. However, he should have been paid that mark just before that. He missed a regulation set shot for goal that he had just after that one, but you got to like the look of him. Whether he's playing up the ground, little stint in the ruck, just whatever he does, it just looks dangerous. It looks classy, and they're struggling to A, get anywhere near him in the air, but B, kick the right matchup on him. And at times, I mean, on that one there, he ran down. It was Zach Jones tried to cover him. They just haven't been able to get the right matchup on him.
Yeah, it's such an impressive return. I mean, he hasn't missed a beat, as you said, Jason. This was a guy 8 weeks ago. We thought his season was done. Then we thought if he came back, it was going to be really late in the season, maybe for a tilt at finals. And now, 8 weeks later, he's just playing the way that he did before he got injured. He's gone into the ruck, so clearly the club are pretty happy with how he's going as well. He's been dominant. And the other facet of the game that we're going to look at, Sarah, was the stoppage game. Saints did a terrific job in the first quarter. They were actually winning first possession and clearance quite comfortably. They restricted the Western Bulldogs to just 1 goal in the first quarter. But that flipped in the second term and the Western Bulldogs started to get their dominance, the quality of players they had in there. Started to get to work and were able to punish StKilda. So, as I said, only 1 goal in that first quarter from stoppage, and that was a forward 51, the little screw around the body. But in the second term, so the Dogs were able to kick 3 goals from these midfield stoppages. Their ability, as Kingy was saying throughout the call, to get from the inside, outside, and then just get deep quality entries. This one was a great effort from Norton. I think it was his first touch of the game at this stage. Wilkie doesn't often get beaten in one-on-ones. And then again, this sort of bit of play, the quick handball from Libba we see so often. And then they flick it around and they're able to then punish StKilda. So 3 of their 6 goals in the second term for the Western Bulldogs were from stoppage. And this was again Norton getting the free kick, Wilkie under pressure. So that's been a bit of a facet in this second term while the Dogs kicked out into their big lead. And not only is it their scores from stoppage, it was more what it was doing for the territory game. This has been a game really where the teams have been able to play it in their forward half. The Dogs have already got 45 points from their forward half, and that is a lot off the back of their clearance in that quarter to at least play it in that facet of the ground, and it's been a big factor.
Let's check in with David King up in our commentary box for Fox Footy. Kingy, the battle between Marcus Bontempelli and Windhager. Now, the Bonts only got 7 disposals, but we saw him. Doesn't take much for him to have an impact involved in that Sam Davison goal.
No, it doesn't take much for Bond. He's a star factor player. We know that. He should be a Brownlow medalist. He's been Brownlow favourite about 3 times. But I love what Windhager's been able to do. He's been able to keep him in touch and keep him in check, particularly in traffic. He's prepared to get in the fight and deny him the easy ability to get from contest to contest. To keep him to 7 touches is some sort of achievement. We've seen him do jobs over the last few weeks on Cozzy Pickett and Anderson of the Gold Coast and Holmes and Taranto, these sorts of matchups. But Bontempelli is a different weight range altogether. This guy's a top liner of our competition. Not only to stay diligent to the task, particularly in these aerial battles. And the umpire's pulled him up a few times because he has been grabbing, he has been wrapping the arms around his lower torso. But this sort of fight here is what I've really liked. And I think he set the standards for the StKilda midfield. And then to be able to get him on counter punch, he laid the original tackle that forced this turnover. And to kick a goal against Marcus Bontempelli is some sort of first half. I think if the midfield can approach the game like Marcus Windhager is right now, they're in this match.
Been super impressive, Windhager. I've loved his game. I like the fact that now Bontempelli a couple of times has wrapped around and been given a hand pass by a couple of teammates. They're trying to bring him into the game, which I think is really important, because you can get, and you would know, Joe, when you get tagged out of the game, you can get flat and get down yourself thinking, oh, it's going to be a really tough day. But by giving him a couple of easy ones, wrap around hand passes, he gets himself in the game. It makes him feel good about it.
He does. But the other thing with Marcus Windhager that he's added to his game, we spoke about Ed Langdon on Dacos. Ed Langdon had 4 touches, no influence offensively. Windhager, like he did against Cozzy Pickett, has got the ability to work off as well. It's something that he's added to his game as a tagger, which makes him a real threat to be able to nullify the best, but also get involved on offense. So that's been a win for StKilda in his first half.
Yeah, he's got 8 touches already. We're going to head to Brad Johnson and Eddie Betts, who have got a close watch on the Ford 50 ground ball game. Guys, how are you seeing it?
Well, it's competitive, that's for sure, Sarah. And the Bulldogs forwards have come with an aggression in this game, both in the air and on the ground. I think that's helped as well, Ed, because with the return of Sam Darcy has been a great reference. You're big on that, the fact that you need a tall to be able to reference if you're a small. And not only that, Bontempelli's crashed a couple of packs also to create opportunities for the smalls inside forward 50.
Yeah, it is. And if you're small, the small's always going to be up the ground, but it's about racing back, getting back to the front and centre, knowing where the contest is going to be. So here the ball comes in and flies. There Riley West comes in, sitting right there. Right there, that's the right position to be. Right in the contest there. You haven't gone past it, so you're not out of it. And then he just centres it. And so what the smalls are doing, they're getting up the ground and they're getting back. And you know the 3.9 metres, get to his feet. He's not going to get out marked. He's going to bring it to ground, and then they're scoring goals. That's why they're number 1 in the competition for ground balls inside their forward 50. They're getting up, they're getting back, and it's all about work rate.
And the physicality as well, Sarah, where Norton was able to get his goal by getting under the armpit of Wilkie and putting him off the line of the ball. The same with Davidson with the last one there for the Bulldogs in that second term.
Thank you very much to Jono and Eddie. Let's go into the newsroom. John Ralph, an incident with Matt Kennedy has caught your eye.
Oh, Sarah, don't players know how to exploit a really good rule? I don't think Hunter Clark has anything to answer for. We'll show you the incident with Matt Kennedy, who knows he can secure a free kick, and that's exactly what he does. So one arm pinned, then you see Hunter Clark actually releases that arm. It's what the AFL asked him to do. And instead, Kennedy, rather than bracing for the fall with that free arm, throws that head back. Now, that's the problem with the rule. It's a really good one. The AFL wants to protect the heads of players, and in fact the players exploit it and cause, at worst case, concussion there. So frustrating for the AFL. Certainly no case to answer for Hunter Clark.
Thank you very much, Ralphie. Your verdict on that, Chief?
I'd be horrified if he got rubbed out. He had both arms free when he threw him to the ground, and he threw him over the boundary, so no problems at all.
All right, we're going to head to a quick break, and coming up, things are going to get hot because John Ralph has the round 14 edition of the Blowtorch. He'll grill the team with all the red hot issues out of the week of football.
All right. There we go, half time. 10-4-64, 5-6-36. Dogs. 28. Actually, I'm talking about the Dogs. What was that, Will, was it? Well, yeah. I'm saying the crowd's getting into it. They're enjoying what they're seeing. And tell you what, you're lucky you're probably playing the Saints. who are making plenty of errors. I was just looking through that second quarter. As I was saying at quarter time, I think the Dogs have still got a long way to go to get their silky smooth game back up and running. But as I said, lucky they're playing the Saints tonight. They can afford to not play at their best and still get over the line. Saints, oh my gosh. There we go. Although it was a better quarter. Were the Saints lifting, you were saying? Well, they did lift a little bit. They certainly did lift a little bit. They certainly look better than the first quarter. 4 goals, 2 for the Saints in that second term. 6 goals, 2 for the Dogs. They just know how to get it done. And of course, as we were saying in the call there, the Bond copped a big knee to the sternum right near sort of the heart area. So he didn't look good when he came off. He went down to the rooms, obviously got checked out, and must have passed every test or whatever they do down there, and he came back out on the ground, of course, came back up. But it didn't look good. Not a good spot to get a nice knee when you're going for the marking contest. It's sort of... yeah, it looked like it shook him up for a little bit when he was coming off the ground. But good to see the Bont back out on the ground. I tell you what, he'd be fantastic in black and white colours. Emmanuel, it'd be fantastic. Who they're going to tag, I don't know. Yeah, the coach. Tag the coach. Hey, Eddie G, Adrian Sports Channel. How you going, brother? What's going on? Oh, that's right. We were going to look at the ladder for Adrian. Of course, thanks, Taddy, for hanging in there. And Liam, good stuff, boys, good stuff. Ryan, how you going, Squire? What's happening over there? Good to see you. Tina, Game Board, if you are there, you are listening, you're loading. You're loading. I just wanted to let you know that. You're loading. Audiba. All right, let's go and have a look. Just for Adrian, let's turn the live ladder off and have a look where these two teams sat on the ladder. Of course, the Western Bulldogs, they were sitting 9th on the ladder, 24 points, 6 and 6. Win-loss ratio, dead set even for them, 24 points. They're a game outside of the top 8, and of course, if they do happen to win tonight, they'll jump up in the 7th spot. And of course, Fremantle, yeah, they'll get pushed out of the top 8. They'll be out in the 9th spot. And of course, StKilda down there in 12th. Sitting on 20 points, 5 wins, 7 losses. That really is pretty much a must-win game for the Saints tonight. Because if they do happen to lose, I know they're a margin behind. But anything can happen in football. Well, we've still got half a game to go. There'll be 2 games out of the top 8 plus percentage. Tell you what, let me just say, it's going to be hard to boot any of these other teams out. Hawthorn, of course, lucky to be still in the top 8 with that win the other day. There we go. We thought Hawthorn Giants might struggle, but they're still in there. We'll see what happens over the weekend of football. We turn the live ladder on. This is for Eddie G. Eddie G, this is for you if you're still in the chat. There we go. And if we stop the game right now, there is the live ladder. Western Bulldogs will jump up in the 7th. Fremantle out of the top 8, they're 9th. Holy Toledo. Go Crows, you're saying? Crows sitting on 36 points in 3rd, 9 wins, 4 losses. Of course, the other games coming up this week, which is a mega game tomorrow night. I tell you what, tomorrow night, Friday night football, we have Hawthorn taking on Adelaide. Can you believe it? Wow-wee. You know what? I really don't know who I'd prefer to win that game. Adelaide, who are going to get, if Adelaide win, they'll go to 40 points, only 1 game behind the Pies on top. Or Hawthorn, or do we want really to cheer for Hawthorn to go out of the top 8? I don't know. They'll go to 36, still 2 games, so that'll leave the Magpies still clear on top from there. Of course, Saturday we've got Brisbane Lions. Let me just put it back on there just in case folks are coming in and have a look at the score. Of course, Saturday we've got some big games. Brisbane Lions taking on GWS Giants up there at the Gabba. That's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. Of course, both teams not in real hot form, but a home game for Brisbane, you would think that would get them across the line. Of course, Saturday afternoon, I tell you what, Essendon Geelong, that's going to be a great game at the MCG. And of course, Saturday evening, the game where North Melbourne sold their soul North Melbourne, they just keep selling their soul. North Melbourne playing Fremantle over at Optus Stadium in Perth. What's going on there? I'm pretty sure that's Optus Stadium in Perth. Let me just put that. Optus Stadium in Perth. Fremantle, what are you doing? I mean, North Melbourne, what are you doing? Selling your games. Obviously, North Melbourne are not interested in winning games this year. They're just interested in the money, and that's all right if they need funds. So there we go. Lucky for Fremantle. They get a home game, which should be an away game. Away game at home. How bizarre is that? Of course, Sunday, we've got a couple of games coming up also. Port Adelaide versus Melbourne. That's going to be a really interesting game over there at Adelaide Oval. That's a late start at 3:20 p.m. Melbourne time. And, of course, the final game is West Coast versus Carlton. Come on, West Coast. This could be a game where West Coast could win and really upset Carlton. You just never know. That's going to be fascinating. I'm going to love to watch that game. That's Sunday night, 6:10 p.m. following the Port and Melbourne game. Of course, the teams having a bye this week. Of course, the Mighty Magpies, the Gold Coast Suns, Sydney Swans and the Richmond Tigers all having a bye this round. But I tell you what, tomorrow night's game, Hawthorn Adelaide. Surely that is a match of the round. That's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. Send North to Northern Territory. Tell you what, they've got to send North somewhere if they like selling their games. I don't know. You know what? North Melbourne, even when North Melbourne were having their red-hot period when they were winning the flag, when back in the Wayne Carey days and that, you know, their fan base never really grew that much, and they were just one of those sides that, yeah, they're pretty much a team that you would think, you know what, merge with someone else or say to, just stick them back to the VFL or somewhere like that, good old North Melbourne. I think North Melbourne will probably about another 100 years off contending for the top four. I think go the Eagles. I tell you what, Manuel, I'll be cheering for the Eagles. That is going to be one hell of a game. I'm going to love watching that game. I'll definitely be tipping the Eagles. Actually, I want to have a little bit of a look and see. There's no odds up for that game. Oh yes, there is. The Eagles are 425, Carlton 123. I tell you what. It'd be nice to have a little something on the West Coast. Eagles at 425. Wow-wee. That'd be all right, wouldn't it? All right, let's just quickly duck over and have a look. If Eddie G comes back into the chat, well, let's show Eddie G the live ladder again. There we go. I don't want to tease Eddie G too much, being a Freo supporter, because we all know Adrian Sports Channel's favourite team is Fremantle, but we know his second favourite team is Collingwood. Fremantle and then Collingwood. There we go. Addy G, there is the live ladder, just in case you didn't see it. Fremantle dropped tonight, so they really need to win against North Melbourne to climb back into the 8, and you're a good chance at doing that because Brisbane played the Giants. So you would expect... TV. Oh, Sanaa. Well, you'd expect Brisbane to win. So it's on the boot of Fremantle again. This is a must-win game. If they can't win against North Melbourne, it's, you know, you'd have to think it's yibbity-yibbity. That's all, folks. Freo to merge with Port Adelaide. You know, Fremantle's actually not too bad a side. I don't know, there's something lacking in there where they just don't hold their structures, etc. like that. Sometimes they come out and play really well, and other times, well, they're just, they're a little bit like StKilda. But they're actually not too bad. I don't know where they just lacking maybe a couple of quality players with Fremantle, but there we go. Isaac, how you going? Stop dreaming, Carlton will smash West Coast. Yeah, I'll tell you what though, it is being played over in Perth. It's a home game for West Coast, so you just never know. West Coast haven't been too bad, even though they're sitting down the bottom of those ladders. It's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. Whatever it is, I tell you what, I think there's going to be a lot tuning in to listen to that game. Aaron Norton, Booker Khamis, multiple goal scorers for the Doggies with Sam Darcy on 2. Sam Darcy, well, we'll have a little bit about him in a minute. Sanders and Richards with a single. Fraser Davison also. For the Saints, Mason Wood, Winhager, Sharman, Killer Higgins also with singles. There we go. Wangani Miller. He's a star for the Saints. He tops the table with 21 disposals, 19 kicks, 2 handballs. He doesn't like to handball, does he? Just the 2 of his 21, 1 clearance. Still need a lot more from him and the rest. Blue fans are always overconfident as soon as they win one game. I mean, you know what? Carlton are a little bit like Fremantle also. When they play well, they play well. Gee whiz, when they don't, there we go. You put a bit of pressure on some sides and they can just fold. You know the one good thing about Carlton last week? They didn't play Mackay and Curnow together. They just can't. I tell you what, when they both play together, Carlton look worse. They just need to play one of those players and just have one focus. That's what I've always said this season, and it's always sort of panned out. Jack Sinclair on 16. Bailey Dale tops the table for the Doggies. 16 disposals, 3 clearances. Bailey Williams, 14. Libba, 13. Come on, Libba. We want to see a little bit more from you. Rowan Marshall, 12 for the Saints. All right, that's enough for me. Hey, let me just roll down this. We're back in the third quarter. Let's head back down to the ground.
After it, back to English, and then Kennedy's kick was smothered. Fell back to English, under pressure, got a kick away. Wanganeen Miller over the top of Vandermeer. It goes to ground. Richards grabbed by Steele, but he's still got to boot the ball. Inside 50 it goes. Can Bontempelli run under it? Wilkie did, and then takes it to ground, and it's a stalemate.
Interesting bit of byplay there. Bontempelli starting forward, started in the centre bounce. Kingy and Ed Richards was trying to wrestle Marcus Winghager and keep him in the centre bounce.
Hines and Carroll, the unused subs for your respective sides. Sinclair continuing that metres gained effort. Lob tracks it to the line.
Seven disposals for Rory Lobb tonight so far. Here is the man in question, Marcus Bontempelli.
Hands off, hands off.
7 touches for the Bont. English and Marshall go at it. English fists it down only as far as Sinclair, and a little chip from Steele. No mark taken by Clark. Fell to Hill, inboard Marshall, grabbed by English. Vandermeer couldn't quite control the football. Ricochets along the ground. Dale grabbed it. Was he taken high? Umpire didn't think so. Treloar. Vandermeer was falling to the ground but got rid of it to Sanders, who had the composure to have a bounce. Kick in the Darcy direction. Has the football at half forward. Gets on with it quickly. Kick towards the top of the square. West caught out of position. Wood.
It's a tough call out there. I reckon Jared Healy would have spilled his Earl Grey watching that, hands in the back. You've got to reward the man in front. Caminiti on that occasion.
Wood needed to be perfect. Spills to ground. Jones with a bit of physical presence does well. Frazier gets him back the other way. Treloar, Liberatore, Lob, sweeps it out to Richards. Again on to Frazier. Clever inboard, really clever. McNeil, and well done Caminiti, got in front of Darcy, which is not an easy task.
And that's where they've got to be really careful that they don't go full Darcy focus. Had the bailout, Bontempelli, top of the goal square, trying to create something for Sam Darcy.
Caminiti spreads it as wide as he can to Hill as they tightrope the boundary. Wilkie along the line. Owens finds himself in the right spot, flicks it out the back towards Higgins. Higgins has kicked to Sharman, who hit it hard with a really good lead. Presented well, plays on quickly. Butler's on his own in the square. Keeler couldn't quite mark it and through for a behind.
Better ball movement from the Saints there, though. Jack Higgins in the right spot.
Short to Kennedy. Bailey Williams racking up possessions this evening. Shaped in, nothing doing.
Bont has taken Windhager deep forward.
Keep an eye on that. And Sanders. All to go.
And after a bit of zigging and zagging to Liberatore, pumps it out to Bontempelli. Sanders, Vandermeer, inside 50, kick too hot for McNeil. Bontempelli trying to snatch it away from Caminiti, ball in dispute, and now it's going to be a ball up.
You can see Marcus Windhager so hell-bent on getting back to Marcus Bontempelli that he leaves Aaron Norton free in the goal square. So hell-bent on making sure Bont doesn't get possessions.
Marshall drags out of the ruck, only as far as Dale. Had 9 possessions in about the first 10 minutes, did Bailey. Just 17 now. Goes long, inside, towards Norton and Darcy. What a combo, hard to beat.
Wally West just laid another fantastic block for Aaron North, top of the goal square. Gave him the ability to run and jump there.
I'm sorry, Marcus.
It's a hard way to live, isn't it? There's a contested marking forward.
Out to Sanders. Has a bit of a think about the goal sticks and then finds English in the pocket, who just couldn't quite grab it. Although he's been given the free kick, top of the arm against Marshall.
A lot of front-on contact as well there. Popped out the front of the stoppage.
I've liked his game tonight. He's challenged Marshall by getting forward as regularly as he can. When Marshall was going deep forward, he was finding holes.
You've got a shot on goal. You've got a shot on goal. Umpire barking the instructions at English, who's got plenty on his plate, comes into the field of play. Goal umpire stands still, drills it.
He's got the ability to do this, King. He's had games this year where he's had 16, 17 score involvements against Port Adelaide up in Ballarat. He's such a big man as well to push forward. You can see the original contest here where he was in, and as soon as he saw the turnover happening or the ability to win the ball back, he just thought, I'm just going to go forward. Now heading forward to pivot up, potentially be that long kick. Popped into a nice little spot there and challenged Rowan Marshall forward of the ball, and it's what you've got to do as a ruckman if you're going to go into these forward 50 stoppages, which sometimes they don't do with English, is be an option.
These are the games for the Dogs where you've just got to maintain habits. So against the best teams in the competition, they haven't been anywhere near the mark this season.
Richmond, Sydney and North the next 3 games after this, the way of the Dogs. Looking to take care of tonight first. McRae, important touch. Clark back to McRae, slides it forward, good build-up. Owens immediately spins back off the mark, wants something towards him. There's a long kick of the football. 52 out. Strikes it reasonably well. Just off target though.
Clear the area. So Dale has A, B and C and finds Davidson. Hit him well. Good little battle here on the flank. What about that, Darcy?
It's got to be play on though. He's chosen to handball the ball.
Kick got 15, so Richards gets on with it urgently. Dale up the ground, slams it on the boot towards the Norton direction. Over their heads it goes and through from behind.
I've marvelled at Ed Richards' handball. We saw the way out of the stoppage to Marcus Bontempelli there. That handball just to break the line, to get Bailey Dale through there. The angle of receive, but also the angle of the handball is why the Bulldogs are such a good offensive team.
Love it, Jack. Short ball, Wanganeen Miller keeps it in play, does well, the smooth move. It takes a bounce. He might take a second one. No. Elects to go down towards Lob. He could use the body too by Sharman. There's a man inboard. Can he hit Keeler? Makes him work. Does well to pick it up. Owens piled into the back from Bontempelli. Again, though, just a small thing from Keeler, but he did it nicely.
Yeah, there's something there. So you did all the hard work, Sharman. You'd love to see him just find that target, making it a cleaner entry and a higher percentage opportunity, but they're fighting here. They know they're not in that level at the moment yet, the Saints, but they are working hard. Got to be proud of what they're doing here.
Mitch Owens third in the Rising Star back in 23 behind Sheasel and Ashcroft. Big 35 back in 2021. 17 goals for the year for the number 10. From right on 50. Good looking kick. Just off target.
So let's see if they can get some repeat entries. Just a 22 inside 50s for the match. And I think most of that is because they let the Dogs too easily out of their defensive 50 and don't get those repeat opportunities.
So along the flank, Williams dancing around Travalia. Pumps it inboard. Fraser. Davidson on his own, just in front of the dugout. So the Dogs again moving the ball pretty quickly. And then spears one inboard to Liberatore.
To see the angles here from the Bulldogs. They want to keep shifting the StKilda defence.
Ignores the lead from Fraser, goes Davidson.
It's just a bit easy. So we're talking about they've pretty much played uncontested footy all the way down the ground here.
So Kennedy has it. He's going to kick it inside 50. Where's the tall timber? Darcy, third man there.
3.9.
I think that was 4.1.
Well, when he jumps, we just put it in the pre-game earlier. He's 208 centimetres as a standing target. When he puts his arms up, he's over 3 metres, and when he jumps, it's just ridiculous. I mean, there's not a defender in the comp that can compete with that at full extension. And they know it. The kick was perfect.
Already with 2 tonight. He sets himself. Sam Darcy and the human skyscraper sends it over the goal umpire's head for another one. He's kicked 3.
Well, the way they use the ball to him is excellent. They're not bombing it high. They actually kick it with a bit of penetration because they understand where Sam Darcy is undefendable. You can see here this kick. It's not a big bomb inside 50 waiting, and multiple options. Tim English comes around and that lane opens up, and from there the penetration on the kick, it's not a big long one, it's a nice pop one. And David King, you asked for, I think it was 12 or 13 targets inside 50. He's already had 11.
Yeah, my only criticism is there's very little blocking that goes on in the Dogs forward 50. I'd just love to see one of the smalls just check the path of Caminiti, just try and give Darcy that free run at the ball. It's only a metre.
So he's got 3 on return as the young star, Travalia, with a really high winding ball to the outer side. Hill does really well. Just out-bustled Sanders, took a good chest mark. Plays on. Slides it. Dale in good position. And marks strongly. And just continues to gain metres.
Running hard for him, Norton. It's got Davidson further afield. Goes longer. Richards with 2 to beat. And then somehow with a kung fu kick on the ground, the only way I could describe it, hitting it hard was West.
On his own.
West kicks to the top of the square. Sanders! He's joining the party now. He could have played on to Darcy, and then Sam turns around and says, go for home, young man.
I think if Darcy wanted it, he could have called it off Sanders here. But Riley West, take your pick. Got Sanders and Darcy ahead of the ball. Brad Hill's the wing there. He's trying to slide back to help out. It's too easy there for the Bulldogs. Ed Richards as well, fantastic. The IQ just to kick it while lying on his back.
So looking for his seconds. Riley Sanders, this all-important third quarter. And spears it through for their 13th goal. And it's just starting to get a little bit ugly now for the Saints.
So every coach, every assistant coach will be watching this tonight, Jack, thinking, righto, when we play the Dogs, how are we going to play Sam Darcy? How do you do it upfield and how do you do it one-on-one with him?
Well, at the moment, there's no one checking him in that play there. I think the work that we don't see on the screen is the most critical work that you do. Now, not to the same level of Sam Darcy, but Mason Cox has got similar height. So you've got to check. You've got to really use little levers just to try and move their body weight so they can't have a free run and jump at the ball. And that there will get under his skin a little bit. Stand in front, bump him, make it a team tag. The other one is your ruck just has to get back. You have to go back and protect.
Jack Rewell alongside David King, Eddie Betts, Brad Johnson, Thursday night footy on Fox. And they hit the ruckman in the head. Windhager has been all over Bont all night. No one getting clear.
Thanks, Marcus. Yep, there it is.
I'll tell you what I wouldn't be doing. I wouldn't be putting Darcy in the ruck. I'd be using Aaron Norton.
I like that.
I'd
Bontempelli, slick hands to Davidson, threading his way through, and then his eyes lit up and he misses.
I think that's a really great point because Aaron Norton sort of doesn't get the opportunity. Darcy is the #1 target, so it gives Aaron Norton the chance to get up the ground and maybe get a few more possessions. Carlton do it with Harry Mackay. Why not Aaron Norton?
Somehow Bramble whips it back towards Davison, script of the footy, Treloar. Just working back in after a long injury layoff, gets it on the 1-2, Treloar, sends it forward again, Norton! They got big boys everywhere, the Dogs!
Well, they've got great targets, haven't they? I mean, if you want to put the ball just slightly favoured side to one of these big boppers, you're going to give them a good look. They're itching for this guy to get back into some serious form. He's kicked a couple already tonight. You'd love to see him just fill his boots.
Hasn't taken a mark inside 50 the last 4 weeks, Aaron Norton. Back in business tonight with his big man up there beside him. Just eases it home. Darcy 3, Norton 3, Dogs away.
Well, I think it's becoming clearer and clearer that Aaron Norton is a really good second banana when he gets the opportunity. Here's the Saints turnover, and at this point in time you're thinking there's no chance the Bulldogs are getting it over to the far side of the ground where Aaron Norton takes his mark. But this little kick there from Treloar, and all of a sudden every single part of the 50 metres is accessible, and he picks exactly the right option, kicks exactly the right kick. As you could see Wilkie coming across, he needed to get it there and get it there fast on Zach Jones's head, and Aaron Norton did the rest.
Stepping through some tackles now. You've got to stick your tackles, the Saints, if you want to hang around.
Aaron Norton bagged 6 in round 7 against the Saints last year. And a repeat of their last encounter where he's got 3. Steele in the middle of Marvel to Trevelyan. Quick hands, Marshall just dumps it on the boot. A sky ball. Dogs everywhere. Log with the fist. Cleary helped in. Dale wanting the free kick. Gets one.
Dale up to possession 23. Wanganeen Miller at 22 so far.
This is where the Saints can't lose their head. They've got to stick to the task.
They haven't been able to stop this all night. This is why the inside 50s read 42-24. They just don't get the double ups.
4 goals to zip for the turn. 28-point halftime margin is blown out in a hurry to 51. Buku, centre wing.
Camus. Davidson. 11th touch. Long ball. Norton. West Blue as well. And keeping his footing, Wilkie to Marshall.
Overlap hand pass to Jones. There fell footy last year, but he's worked his way back. Lob arrives. Takes care of business.
Hasn't had a lot to do tonight, Rory Lobb, but they're just coming up, leaving his opponent at a really critical time to impact the contest in front of him. That's a really good trait for a key defender, to be predictable like that.
A lot of Saints at the stoppage here.
Marshall just tried to caress it to Steele. Clark up against the boundary and over.
A little bit of confusion. You can just see Burns saying who's playing where, what's happening at the back of stoppage. Dogs have got 2 free players.
Looks like they're sending Keeler behind the ball as a spare, StKilda. So Ross trying to just clog it up with extra numbers at the stoppage and behind the ball.
Well, that's not going to work. I mean, that's just freeing up Bailey Dale and Fraser.
Marshall only as far as Liberatore, who's driven to ground.
Bit of firepower on the bench. Darcy, Richards and Bontempelli. McRae, sleight of hand, back to Sinclair. Most metres gained in the first half for Jack. Lob again with a fist. Higgins, slip, Wood. Free kick. Downfield to Marshall. He's not aware. He's gone too far downfield. Big Rowan.
There's an extra 100 metres on the GPS for Rowan Marshall. Bit of movement on the bench down there at StKilda, so we'll head down to the boys soon to find out if the subs being made.
Carroll and Hines, the unused subs so far.
Looks as though Jack Carroll's getting himself organised as Marshall kicks it very wide, too wide, over the head of Wood and out.
I'm telling you, they're good for 1 or 2 a game, the Ruckmans.
2.
Head scratcher number 2, you reckon, Kingy?
Just see how the Dogs do it, to see if they can pierce their way through.
So Liberatore kicks it to this congestion. Darcy, tallest man on the field, gets it to Kennedy, who spears one round the corner. Stocker the first to meet it to Sinclair. And now to Hill, and they'll mop up okay here, the Saints.
And so Brad Hill just has to stop because of the defence. As Bailey Dale had that opportunity, worked so hard to protect the outlet.
Nothing short on offer. Sends it to a contest out on the outer side. Higgins halves that contest. Fraser somehow releases Liver, puts it out in front of Dale. Forward hand pass, Davidson. Options inside. Buku. And the spoil in the end came from Stocker.
Just look at the St Kilda ball movement, and it's so slow and lacks instinct. They've got to be able to play and go and play with a bit more freedom. I'm not sure whether that's by instruction or just the players taking that into their own hands and not assessing the options quickly enough. Because if you play slow against the better teams in the competition, you have to defeat every line on counterpunch. And they are so organised and so disciplined, almost impossible to do, Jack.
You're also relying on contest. Winning a lot of contests and a lot of contests forward of the ball, which is really hard to do because sides are so good defensively at setting up. That's a great example there. Brad Hill doesn't go because the Dogs are set up well. You still got to challenge them. There might be a 1v1, but you can create it with a bit of run, bit of movement. At the moment, just too stagnant. The Saints with ball in hand.
Stocker off with the blood rule. Jones charging onto the field for him. Darcy in the ruck. Gets it to West. West with a little fend off. A second fend off. Then run into Sinclair. Had to get rid of it. Davidson collected it. Gets it to Dale. Chips in the Buku direction. Tried to take it off his shoelaces. Dolan quick hands. West again from 30 metres out on the boot and offline.
Sub being made down there, Jono?
Yes, Howie Butler is off for the Saints. He's in the back row now, and Jack Carroll is ready to enter this game for the Saints.
Cooper Hines yet to be activated by the Dogs. Keeler deep in defence. 60-metre drop punt down the line. Roy Lobb takes a good grab. Got Richards on the 45. Norton and Buku Karmas are the deep options. And that's where he heads. Here comes Norton. Big fly. Got a good piece of the Sharon as well. In the end, punched away from him. Keeler, hands.
Well, he's looked a bit more balanced in the air tonight, I reckon, Aaron Norton. You can always tell there, as soon as he comes down, landing on his feet's a really good sign as a key forward. Means your hips are nice and balanced. You're sitting nicely on the pack. He's taken one. A few more around the corner.
Oh, West with the crumbing. It was elite work, and then he just spun it too far.
Oh, he's desperate for a goal, Westy. That's his last. He's got only eyes for those 2 big sticks. A couple of teammates screaming for the ball. A great piece of roving.
Sinclair is 22nd as a short option.
Just this here, it's really slow and static. Look at the Dogs in behind, just rolling up. Now you've got to get through Rory Lobb as he finds the perfect positioning to spoil.
Cavanini has to go in that area. Fraser provides the spoil. Higgins. Vandermeer got an important touch on. Good forward hand pass. Davidson, Chalor, he's got the overlap again. Lockie McNeil. Norton will stay down. Well done, Wilkie. He's done everything he can against them. Outnumbering tonight.
Yeah, played it well. Out to Clark. As they run their way out of D50. Punched away in the end from Marshall by Darcy.
Think he plays the full minutes, Sam Darcy, or could he potentially be given a spell for Hines?
Yeah, it's a good call. I think that as soon as the coach thinks this game is done, I think he'll be taking him off. What a change it's made.
Trelaw flicks it to the advantage of English. Tried to kick it off the deck. The pinball going on. Umpire will ball it up.
The way Sam Darcy's going, I don't think he would be wanting to venture to the back row of the bench. When you're in rare form as a key forward coming off injury, you want to continue to get continuity. As many minutes as possible, if that was me.
As a player.
Yeah. As a player. Coaches sometimes are a little bit smarter and a little bit more risk adverse.
You've always sniffed a 9-goal win too.
Kept the sneaky ones out the back.
It's the cash-in quarter in the last one in a potential blowout, Howie.
Marshall has Carroll on the ground, as Brad Johnson, Eddie Betts told us. Owen stands up in the tackle. Clark, driving ball forward. He's good. Higgins is out the back again. He's got a man forward of the foot. He uses it beautifully. Burns.
Well done, Jack Higgins. He could have taken the shot and would have probably been within his rights to take a pin. It's a beautiful kick. Probably would have kicked it, but he saw his teammate Burns just had a yard or two. Good team play.
Played every game this year in his sixth season. Picked 52 back in 2019. Ryan Burns, just 1 goal for the season. Shouldn't be a problem for the number 13 to break a run of 4. And that's exactly what Burns does.
Well, Jack Higgins, we know, is probably one of the best players or best small forwards in the competition. David King's already said that if running forward was an Olympic sport, he'd be representing Australia. And you can see here, owning the outside's important at these stoppages as well. And all of a sudden, a little handball, and he's out the back.
He's gone.
Absolutely gone. Now, credit to Jack Higgins as a player. He's on the cusp of potentially being in an All-Australian discussion. I reckon Jack Higgins of 2 years ago would have had a shot there. And this is the best version of Jack Higgins, the team player there, just to pass that away, give someone else a sniff. Young Burns kicks the goal, and it's off the back of holding your width as a player, hoping that the ball comes through, and then being a really great teammate.
Only 6 inside 50s for the quarter for the Saints. At the restart, the umpire's gone down. Well, that's interesting. So the Sainter knocked the umpire over, so it's going to be a free kick to English. Plays on quickly. Williams this time blazing through the centre circles in the Davidson direction. Dolan going in hard. And it's going to be a ball up.
The umps are hot onto this. Yeah, the umps are really hot onto this. Umpire contact.
Flipped out. McNeil snapping. Looks good off the boot if it's got the legs. It does! Quick response by the Doggies.
It just continues, doesn't it? I mean, they look like they've got options everywhere in that forward 50 at the moment, Jack. And to be fair, this is a little bit of what they do against teams that are not quite the best. Look, have a look at Tem. We're trying not to talk about Tem. I think that was a hit from Marshall, to be fair. But again, it's the inside to outside game. As soon as the ball goes into contest for the Dogs, just watch the formation for handball from traffic. They just drop into little holes straight away. You can see Richards, Bontempelli and McNeil all find their own space. There's the umpire contact in the middle. It's quite dangerous for the umps. Slider frame.
Bit of ownership on Hunter Clark there at that forward 50 stoppage as well. Just wanted to go and get the ball and didn't want to defend.
So it's blown out to 52 points after it was 16 at quarter time, 28 at half time. Marshall threw it on the boot. It was touched off the boot. Bontempelli, Bramble, Fraser, Cleary, Bontempelli, Bramble, Davidson has a run, gets away from Hill, then Liberatore, quick movement again. He was dumped after he handballed it. Advantage paid. West to the square. He was snipping out a goal, West, and he gets one in the smorgasbord in the third term.
Well, he's searching for a goal. Was goalless last week, here last Thursday night, and he finally gets one, but
he's been setting fire to teammates everywhere to get this one, Jack.
The Bulldogs' ability to pop forward here, it was Richards and Liberatore. As soon as they saw the turnover, they actually came out of the stoppage forward of it, knowing that they were a chance of winning it. And they're the two players that created the damage. And West comes through 50. That's a really good finish. 10 metres off the boundary from 50 metres. Takes a lot of class to kick that one. And you're right, he's torched a few tonight, Kingy, but that one there, an excellent finish.
Yeah.
6 goals to 1 for the term. 28-point half-time margins. Blown right out to 58 now.
Interesting to see Libber off half-back again this week. We've seen him in small portions throughout the last few weeks. Heavily involved in that last chain of play.
Frazier grabs out of the middle. This could really get nasty. Good turnover coming the other way, though. Windager tried his guts out on Bontempelli for the night. Carroll sliding forward. Falls to Wanganeen. Miller up from 35 out. Classy finish.
And that's the matchup. That's the matchup we're talking about. Liberatore responsible for Nazaya, and they both just go their own way. Now, I know there's a sliding wingman coming back to effectively become the half-back flanker and release Libera on occasion, but you must do your job.
Do you have a theory on why they would be playing Tom Liberatore behind the ball?
You can just see him there. He just comes to the football like a midfielder does, and the sire holds his width and gets the easiest of opportunities. So you just see top of screen, Libber coming in, the sire staying out. It's the biggest decision that you can make as a defender. I just think he's been squeezed out, Jack. There's too many mids in this rotation at the moment for the dog. What a great luxury to have.
23 touches for the sire Wanganeen Miller. And you can add a goal to that list now. Kennedy to McNeil, back to Bontempelli. Sinks his boot into it towards the top of the square. West has to be a nudge out. Before Gerard Healy puts his fist through the television, that had to be in the back.
Interesting that they're starting West as the deepest forward. I'd like to see him maybe up in front of the keys to get to that front and centre. That's where he does his best work, not from behind and playing as a sort of pseudo key, front and centre at the coalface when it lands there.
Stand. Again, this patient, slow ball movement from the Saints makes it very difficult.
Very short from Wilkie, just the distance.
It also makes it really risky as well, kicking it through this.
Man, Wanganeen Miller could be a turnover. It does well on the side ground level, then kicks it straight to Kennedy. He's going to have options galore. West starting to bob up now off Caminiti.
So as slow ball movement starts to happen, defence starts to strengthen as well, because you can close down gaps. You can have a conversation with teammates, point and direct, and then you take risky kicks like that and it invites turnovers.
Ryan and Brendan Bolton in the Saints box. Going to kick one this term. Son of a 7-time best and fairest winner. Scotty West, now Riley, just tugs it.
It's an interesting and delicate balance you're messaging to your players like Nasaya. How aggressive do you want him to be? He's had 9 turnovers tonight. Conceded 4 goals from those 9. There could have been another one there. So do you want him biting off corridor? Because when he misses, you bleed as a team.
So Jones and Wilkie working outside defensive 50. Wilkie gets himself into a little bit of a predicament here. Clark then grabbed by McNeil.
Cal Wilkie just stepped off his line there when he didn't need to. He sort of went to play on, wanted to play fast, but you've still got to have a look up the ground to understand if you've got an option. Gave away his advantage, which was Sam Darcy standing on the mark, and then all of a sudden it's a foot race and pressure comes.
Marshall, ground ball to be won. Libber hunts it. Richards, last gasp opportunity for another one. West been prevalent. Dolan going to be pressured. Dolan picks it up again. Touch, misses, doesn't matter either way.
This is what we're talking about when you're seeking a second half of the season surge against a team you probably should beat. I mean, the Saints were there right for the picking tonight. Dogs, big inclusion of Darcy, and have just taken full control in this third term.
They're led by 16 at quarter time, 28 at the half. The Dogs have come out with the first 4 and 6 goals to 2 for the turn. They're doing a job at the moment on the Saints. 16-9-105 to StKilda 7-9-51. Tomorrow night, Jack the lad and his Hawks go down along Ceston to take on the Adelaide Crows. Well done to all the Hall of...
All right, there we go. 3/4 time, 16-9-105. The Bulldogs, St Kilda 7-9-51. Wow, that is a 54-point margin to the Doggies. 9 goals to be, in fact, 9 goals. The St Kilda put on 2 goals, 3 in that third term. There we go. Dogs, 6 goals, 5. Scoring spree there from the Dogs in the third term. Tell you what, the Dogs are gonna like that, because with going up on in the 7th position, that is just boosting their percentage. They got a nice healthy percentage now, the Doggies there. I want to say make a love shout out. Sheila, mate, cheers, Shelty, thanks for coming on in. Of course, thanks for Teddy, who was in here and had to head on off. There we go. I'll tell you what, it's looking a little bit like a training run for the Doggies in that third term. I think this could get a little bit ugly. Well, should I say a little bit more uglier for the Saints in this final term. The Dogs having it their own way. Let's just have a quick look at the 3/4 stats for the goal scorers. Let me whip this straight back up. Hope that didn't make you dizzy. There we go. Aaron Norton, Sam Darcy on 3. Sam Darcy, I tell you what, I wish the Bulldogs would actually sub him out. They need to sub him out. They want to protect him. This game is over. First game back for about 8 weeks or so. They want to protect him, even though he's starting to get a little bit of touch, reasonably good form. I think it's a smart move if the Dogs could actually pull him off the ground and just rest him the final quarter. Let's see if that actually happens. Sanders, Karmas with 2 each. Riley West finally gets his goal. Ed Richards, McNeil, Fraser English, Davidson, goal scorers for the Dogs. I tell you what, there are a few. Yeah, they play good. I tell you what, they are playing pretty good today. Look, they've been a little bit rusty, but they're playing a side that's not quite up to the Bulldogs' strengths. Cheers. So, good to see. Tell you what, they're a pretty good side, the Western Bulldogs, when they get rolling. Mason Wood, only single goal scorers there for the Saints. Mason Wood, Winhager, Wanganeen, Miller, Sharman, Keeler, Higgins are the single goal scorers with Burns. Higgins probably doing the best. He's probably working the hardest out there for the Saints. Jack Sinclair going all right, though, for the Saints. 26 with 2 clearances. Bailey Dale up to 25 now for the Dogs. Miller always plays a reasonably good game, 24. Libert got into the game a bit more in that third term with 23. Let's just roll on down. We might even be able to see some of the team's stats as we're going along. Adam Treloar, good to see him having a reasonable one. 17 touches, 2 clearances. Sam Darcy, look, he's had 14 touches, 9 kicks, 5 handballs, 7 marks, 3 tackles, 3 hitouts, 2 clearances, 3 goals, 2. Fantastic return to football for him. I think it's time he went on the bench and just had a rest. Make sure he gets through this game protected, ready for next game. There we go. All right, Winhager on 10, just rolling down some of them. Rory Lubb there, he's had 4 marks with his 9 possessions. Jack Higgins, as I said, he's going pretty good there for the Saints. 7 touches. He's kicked 1 goal, 1. Let's have a quick look at the team stats because we're just about back. It's plus 34 to the Dogs. Inside 50s. Now just have a look at the inside 50s. Just a pure domination by the Dogs. 26 to the Saints. 26-53 to the Bulldogs. Already just about on their season average. 25 scoring shots inside forward. 53 times for the Dogs. And of course, Saints, well, they're scoring enough times when they're getting it in there. 26 inside 50s for 16 scoring shots. But they're just not getting it in there. Free kicks going the Dogs' way, 18-11. Well, the umpires, I think, yeah, there we go. Let's not worry about that. The hit-outs all tied at 30 apiece. Clearances, both teams doing well there, just plus 2 to the Dogs. Plus 1 to the Saints in centre clearances, plus 3 to the stoppage clearances. So the clearances are all pretty even for both sides. So the Saints hanging in there well. There we go. Contested, well, it's about, what's that, plus 17 there for the Doggies. As I said, they're just going in a bit harder, putting a little bit more pressure on the Saints. Turnovers, 42 apiece. The marks inside 50, both teams marking reasonable inside 50. Saints, though, they're just not kicking straight. they're just wobbling. You got to take your chances. 7 goals, 9. I know the Western Bulldogs have had 16 goals, 9. They've had, there we go, nearly double the goals to their points, whereas the Saints, they had a lot of easy shots that they should have got when having a shot. Tackles, talking about pressure, tackles inside 50. Western Bulldogs, 14, already surpassed their season average. Saints, only the 2. That's what I'm saying. They're just not keeping the ball in there enough. All right, let's head back here. We'll head back down to the ground when the Dogs go marching in. Good one, Emmanuel. Good one. There we go. Hey, you know what? The margin's 54 points. I think this is going to blow out even further. We're going to find out in just a moment as we head back down to the ground for the final quarter, where it's the Dogs by 54.
Recall seeing a profile like it from the Western Bulldogs. They were able to take the ball from wherever they won the ball back uninterrupted inside 50. So 4 change from D50, all inside 50. 4 from halfback, all inside 50. Every centre bounce, inside 50. Every intercept, forward of centre, back inside 50. I don't know if I've seen that before.
Well, it's a dominance, and you're right. There is no intercepts in that quarter for St Kilda. They didn't stifle the Bulldogs at once. The Bulldogs won the ball, and you're guaranteed to getting inside 50, which you a guaranteed chance of either getting it to Aaron Norton or Sam Darcy. Marcus Bontempelli playing a little bit forward there. So St Kilda's defence just too much leg rope at the moment, Howie. That is sitting off them, allowing little easy marks, and it is not stopping them or giving them anything to compete against.
And 11 broken tackles for the quarter. Ross Lyon will be disappointed with the tackle pressure from the Saints.
Last 2 encounters between these sides, it was Dogs by 71, and before that was Dogs by 60. It's now 54 here at three-quarter time. So we get underway with a secondary stoppage. Marshall down to getting his first taste of the pill. Jack Carroll subbed on. English trying to manufacture towards Dolan. Came out to Stocker. It won't be a mark. Dale heard it. Got it to Fraser, who has to be fast. Too slow.
That's better.
Great tackle, Caminiti with the turnover on the wing.
Going forward.
Dishes by hand immediately. Stocker. Piercing, searching ball to Sinclair. If he's got room, he might go in game 200. Sinclair, deep, but not accurate.
So Caminiti's gone forward, as King's pointed out, and Cal Wilkie's rolled over to Sam Darcy, and we see Keilor having a run in the back half against Aaron Norton.
So Williams with a little bit of a fake and then kick out towards Dolan, grabbed by Stocker. Gives ground towards Carroll. It was a poor kick. Then Darcy overrun it. Carroll, Windhager, Wanganeen Miller with a little fend off. Said, excuse me, and then kicks towards Higgins. Bit of tall timber down here, though. English pats it to himself. Next move, interesting. Wants the line. And got it.
That is a decent fend off there by Wanganeen Miller. Ed Richards in a good position. That's a big boy move, that one.
Sharman in the ruck. Does well. Gets English under the footy. Get much purchase on the kick. Fraser. Just the required distance. Lays off to Richards.
So Richards. Accurate towards Darcy. So the coach happy to keep the big man out there for as long as he possibly can. Down towards Norton. Tried to pat it to Sanders, but harassed out of it by Sinclair. Keeler, Hill. Storms along the wing. Little chip to Sharman. Hill's going to keep running here. Hill inside 50 to a vacant goal square. Bouncing goal. Bradley Hill's first of the night, his 5th of the year.
Good start for the Saints in this last quarter, and that's what you want to see if you're Ross Lyon. Game's out of reach, but you want to see fight from your boys that have started with a tackle from Caminiti. No turnovers in that 3rd quarter, and they got one early, and here's another one. Keeler's got the roll on Sam Darcy. It's going to be a great learning curve for him, but the run from Bradley Hill, we know he's always had it. and to steady up. Wanted to lead up early, maybe had Jack Higgins there, but a lovely finish. Just rolls it through nicely, and this is something for the Saints to build on. They get their opportunity of seeing their young forward go back and play on one of the gun forwards in the competition. They might find something here, but you're playing for pride a little bit at the moment as well, and just to come away from this quarter, potentially winning the quarter.
Great finish from the stylish Hill. Libba, grunt out of the centre. Stocker's in good position. Clark does well. Misses the footy on the way down though. Darcy good for a big fella below his knees. Trelaw, overlap hand pass back to Kennedy. He's kicked goals this year. That one's stymie going forward. Norton picks it up. Back to Libba. Too much hook on it unless he gets a remarkable bounce, which he doesn't.
This is the slickness of the Bulldogs handballs. And they've had it for a long time. Nearly a decade now, but their ability to use hands in the right way to create 1v nones.
So Wanganeen Miller, he drew Vandermeer in a way, and then Windhager further afield down the line. Steele. So they've got it to half forward quickly. Sharman sees a man. Marshall.
Well, he might not have had a lot of possessions tonight, Jack Higgins, only the 7, but he's just caused a little bit of chaos for the Bulldogs defence. He was out again ahead of the ball, and it was this man's direct opponent, Tim English, that had to work hard back to the goal square to try and pick up Higgins, and it was well read with the kick inside 50. Saw that Marshall was free and picked the right option.
18 touches tonight for Marshall, looking to be their 8th individual goal kicker. And flirts with the goalpost, in fact misses, just stabbed at it, didn't he?
Dale plays immediately on back to English. 1-2. Disposal 27 and 28 for Dale.
Well, they've hemmed him in here. These are the opportunities we're talking about. Can you force them long to intercept?
Williams is forced to go long. Wood with the fist, spills to Riley West, had a good patch in the 3rd. English under pressure, ripped off, a good tackle, Owens turnover.
It's another chase down tackle, pretty much the same position.
5 touches only for Owens tonight.
Free kick, Bulldogs downfield. Bulldogs here.
Now there's a player decked. It's O'Donnell. Officiating umpire was onto it, so free kick downfield. Bontempelli with 2 to beat. Windhager, one of them, he flicked it back to Vandermeer. Vandermeer towards Hines in the square, takes the mark and goes bang. Hines has kicked the goal, and that's going to be his first ever goal in AFL.
See him calling him in?
He's kicked his first ever goal in AFL with Buku Kamas subbed off the ground. So a 4th match for Cooper Hines, his first goal, as we see the free kick recipient in O'Donnell.
Zach Jones got a guilty look on his face. I don't suggest he takes up poker anytime soon. It was a costly free kick to give away. His guest going back to him now, O'Donnell, definitely Zach Jones. Always having a word to say. He's checked his run.
Got him down the sternum there.
Yeah, a little bit of mayo, I think.
Another Simon watching on.
I've been hit like that and it hurts, especially when you're not expecting it. Winded. A tough character, O'Donnell. Ran back with a flight last week.
So well done to Hines. So Karma subbed out.
I'm thinking mayo.
Liberatore gets the hands above the tackle. Davidson, nice little spin. Wood comes in from the side. Norton just crunches the pack and they go flying in every which direction. Wood. Gee, that had to be good, and it was, to Webster. Now back to Hill.
Look at him scamper away, Hill. Over the head of Trevallier. Grabbed by Marshall. Back to Trevallier. Threw him under the bus. Richards was there. Ball it up.
Rux, thank you.
7 disposals for...
I'll tell you what,
Toby
Wilkie is
Trevallier.
one tough customer for the Saints. He gets smashed left, right and centre, puts his body on the line consistently for this footy club.
Yeah, spot on, Jono. 18 disposals for Wilkie tonight. Just look at Norton just crunching into bodies.
Friendly fire in the end too.
Bond Scoops it out to Hines. Or was the throw? Just a touch too clever.
Yes, the slickness of their handball has been a real feature, but that was just a little bit too slick. Into the middle, Owens. Can he run onto it? He was able to trap it pretty well, and then Steele grabbed it out of midair, and Vandermeer drove him into the turf.
Yeah, great tackle by Vandermeer there too. You could get in the back of Jack Steele, but just managed to roll him nicely. There's the throw from Montempelli.
English, Marshall, Steele.
I feel there's been a clamp down on the throws the last couple of weeks. Umpiring department.
Umpire's down again.
Yeah. It's umpire Brett Wallace. Old man coached the Bulldogs for a while.
Small plough.
Shovel.
So Steele, Skies one, Wood, a real contest with Cleary out the back. Dale, Davidson, has played well tonight. Dale, lob, didn't know really where to go, but that's great spotting to Sanders on the other side of the ground as they transfer play.
Number 9 for the Dogs. Out of the pocket. Sends it to the defensive side of the wing.
Sam Davidson's turned into an important player for the Bulldogs. Had 9 score involvements tonight, sort of plays wing, half forward, can run all day. They've just found another one there. The man who's going to become a surgeon, but put that in a hold for his AFL career.
Good trap there by Richards with the left arm. Down the line towards Darcy. He's been held, took it anyway. And then plays on, putting it to Norton. So Norton just looks up and finds Kennedy, who's been a terrific get for the Dogs. And Kennedy is going to look to put him on the goal scorer's sheet as well.
So we're talking about speed of ball movement a lot. And you just see Darcy take that mark, and instead of having to go back, reset and kick on his right foot, his dominant leg, he rolls onto his non-preferred and keeps the tempo of play. You can just see they're all at sea behind the ball, the defensive unit for the Saints, and it just goes at a speed they can't handle. They can't get reorganised, and you get this beautiful opportunity.
Third footy club for Kennedy. And straight through the middle. So he becomes the 11th individual goal kicker tonight for the Western Bulldogs. He's having a good year with 16 goals as well.
Yeah, he's having a good year with the goals, but also every single statistic area that you can think of, Matt Kennedy's up. The Bulldogs have been averaging 10.5 goal scorers a game. And then that's number 11, Sam Darcy, comes back in. But the speed of ball movement is exactly right. The ball moves faster than anyone holding onto it. And the predictability too. And I think Luke Beveridge would be absolutely rapt that his 2 key forwards are involved in the chain. Tim English was on here. He created the hole there for Kennedy to come back. And this guy sort of plays pseudo key forward as well. Buku Karmas has obviously been subbed out tonight, but still hit the scoreboard. He's got a reasonable amount of height. He's excellent above his head and a great finisher.
Bashed away out of the middle. Wanganeen Miller hacks it from the air. Clark tries to trap it. Loses his footing in the contest.
Got a bit of Clark Keating about it, didn't it? That big thump out of the middle from Tim English.
So Buku Karmas subbed out for the Dogs. Cooper Hines on, and Dan Butler subbed out for St Kilda with Carroll now on the ground. Williams hoping for O'Donnell, grabbed by Caminiti.
We all knew that Darcy would have an impact. Clearly, he's a quality player. But what it does to this forward half of the ground is transformational. I just wonder what levels it can take him to. I mean, does this take him to a top 4 challenging type role, or are they going to be in that similar position, 5th through 10th? I just get the feeling that when you've got someone like this forward of the ball, you play with so much more confidence, so much more direct.
You think he's probably worth at least 60 goals a year. And then what else comes out? Aaron Norton is a better player with Sam Darcy in the team. So We know their run's pretty soft in the next 3 weeks. Maybe it does propel them to top 4.
Richards does well to get boot to ball as he was being held.
High contact, advantage.
It was against Darcy this time. Advantage played to Wilkies. On the switch to Hill, who's come into it in the second half. Marks in front of Riley West and Webster.
50. Stop short of the mark.
So misdemeanor from Riley West brings Webster through the middle of the grounds. Spears it to Burns, who looks for Higgins. Was cut off by the taller man, O'Donnell, though, and leaves defensive 50 with interest straight back down the throat of Caminiti.
Got the Saints with their Caminiti and Wilkie. The skipper left it for Caminiti. Gives up ground back to Jimmy Webster. Playing game 178. Carroll, deep ball forward. Rory lob. As soon as it left Carroll's boot, it looked like it was going to lob. Gives it back to Treloar, second game back. 19 disposals after that calf interruption.
Play on, 115. Play on, 115.
You heard the call, Davidson. Back to Treloar. Lob. And they transition to the outer side. Williams. So Williams looking for Vandermeer. Wanganeen Miller from the back though. Couldn't quite grab it. Got his boot to ball. Shuffled it towards Hall. Trevelyan. Back in board they go. Opportunity for Clark. Burns had to scoop it up off the floor. Clark kicked towards the Higgins direction. Out pointed again.
Good work. And Cleary back there.
So they touch number 13 for Marcus Bontempelli. Has been well held by Windhager tonight.
Long ball down the line. Saints have got 2. Well done in the end by West. Gets it back from Richards. Throws a desperate boot at it. Could still work out. Richards off a step. Goes inside to the man mountain, Sam Darcy. Plays on. Dishes off. Treloar. Icing. Top of cake. There it is.
There's so many little bits to unpack in that 1 minute play there. The little handball game that eventuated on the half-forward flank. Riley West just throwing a boot at it to get it out in front. Ed Richards popping it over the top, and Sam Darcy just being way too tall. Brad Hill coming in off the back here, but St Kilda just... There's an element of pride here for St Kilda, and they fell asleep there. They just accepted that Sam Darcy was going to go back and have a shot. You can see players with their heads down, hands on hips. Hunter Clark filthy, but even there, didn't man the mark. You want to make sure that right to the end that you're doing the things that are going to propel you, whether it's next week, the week after, in a month's time, somewhere up the ladder.
13 individual goal kickers for the Dogs. Adam Treloar helping himself to the buffet that time. English won it down. Keeler grabbed it. Now McRae kicked down the corridor in the Sharman direction. Was able to scoop it in, did it well, but then Lobb just pinched it away from Marshall. Couldn't quite control it out.
What a revelation he's been behind the ball. Went forward last week. Luke Beveridge pulled that lever. Just looks so at home behind the ball.
Round 16, moved into defence last year. Completely turned his career around. Looked like he could be out of the club at one stage. Now valued member in defence. Wood gets the snap to the near side.
Yeah, valued member, but also, as the boys rightly put on the agenda at three-quarter time, he needs to be in All-Australian discussions, Rory Lobb, with the year that he's having.
So Bramble receives it back as he lowers the shoulders. Back to Dolan.
An operator in an Australian jacket alongside Colin Miller.
Colin Funky Miller. Played a few games for the Tassie Tigers back in the day, so go down to Bellerive and watch him roll it over, Howie.
Crowd tonight of 20,508.
Lives in Las Vegas these days, as you would expect.
Dale to lob, and the cheer squad at that end of the ground just loving his work as Williams has it down half back.
But I think we've seen this story before against bottom 10 teams. And they need to find a centre-back, full-back combination against the very best.
And clever from Fraser. A little bit of clear space for Sanders, then he ran out of room. Trelaw just kicked the last one, this time on the opposite foot. Norton steaming after it, he's kicked free. Gets the bounce now. Goes a high, floating, dangerous ball. It just stopped, Wilk. He must have thought it was going to be conceded. In the end, lucky not to give one up.
So that is the question mark, King, is does they've beaten GWS this year. They haven't beaten any other team above them so far, the Dogs.
Yeah, and we're probably not going to get the answers clearly for the next 3 weeks, so I'll probably disagree with you fractionally on Rory Lobb. I don't think he's had that stellar year that you need to have to be All-Australian, but I thought there were times through the last 3 or 4 weeks we talked about Aaron Norton potentially going back. So that they've thwarted that. But again, what works against the very best? Can you see this lineup in a preliminary final? Standing up, holding firm. That's the challenge, I think, for Luke Beveridge and his match committee.
And we won't find out for another 3 weeks, as you rightly said. But they look to have all the pieces.
So to tidy this up, has the entire ball gone over the line?
Looking at these angles, there is insufficient evidence to determine if the ball crosses the back, the behind line before being knocked back into play. Decision on the scoreboard.
I think there should be a rule made. If it's north of 10 goals, no reviews.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Coming in
Just
here, guys.
no reviews. Umpires calls.
So 8:07 left on the clock. Young Keeler and also English. English tries to go himself and then Steele hacks it out. Higgins, Clark, down the line. Here he is again. Lob.
Sends it back the other way with interest. Trelaw keeps his feet. Ball beats them all.
Tim, Isaac, on my back.
Full analysis after this match with the best in the business. Fox on a Thursday night. Hawks head down to Launceston tomorrow night. All of the action again on Fox. And of course, Super Saturday. It's Trelaw combining with Kennedy. Kick further afield. McNeil. Was he pushed? Yes. The umpire was right on the spot too. Couldn't have missed that.
Kick to go on the third, McNeil.
Yeah, it's good to see him finding a little bit of form.
Lead comes from Kennedy and ignored, and then he pokes it into the pocket. Caminiti on the switch, or no? Gee, Cleary came late. He only give up a point, could have been far worse.
I like Cleary behind the ball too. He's been good in some one-on-one contests for the Bulldogs as a medium-sized defender.
Sinclair's played his part, Jack, in match 200. He's had 28 disposals, make that 29. Along with this man, Wanganeen Miller, 29th disposal. Through the hands of Owens. Grabbed by McNeil, using Dale. Just dances around Clark. And then Trelaw, spreading it wide. Williams up against the boundary line. Sanders grabbed by Owens and out.
Dogs by 16 at quarter time, 28 at half time. They kicked 6 goals to 2 in the third to be up by 54 and 3 goals to 1 to be 65 to the good. Keeler has an opportunity in the ruck. McNeil gets another free kick, this time against Jack Steele. Piercing ball forward. And Sinclair. Off a step, casually to Webster. Now they're away through Hill.
Hill, you'd love to back him in the 100 final. He's fast. Steele. Jones is on his own. Now 2 against 1 inside 50. Higgins is at the back. Lobb was able to trap it. Then gets it to Liberatore. Jones couldn't get him. Spreads it wide to Williams. And then a wobbly one outside D50. Good enough, Sanders.
Higgins had them again out the back, Kingy, but Jones' kick didn't have the penetration.
You know where he's going. Look, he's the ultimate team player, Jack. I do think he does it with a mindset of rewarding the team for winning the ball back. His forward pressure's been elite. It'll be the consistent try for them this season.
Hey, Williams has been big, 26th disposal, going at 79%. By foot. Lobs it towards English. McRae round the body and as far as Trelaw.
There's a bit of lip service to the man on the mark. Bramble. And then kicks to the hot spot. Kennedy in the middle of it all. Bontempelli attempted to get it to Norton, but stolen by Hill, who's working hard. There's 4 players in the middle of the ground. No one inside 50 for St Kilda. Punched away Bramble. It's emphatic now, isn't it? Sanders on his own. Wants an option and presenting as English.
Just so many numbers in the Bulldogs forward 50 there that comes out. Rory Lobb spoils that ball. There's no second line of St Kilda, and see Adam Trelaw not happy with something. Now Tim English gets his chance to hit the scoreboard again.
We'll be talking about the man that's 208 centimetres in Sam Darcy. It's exactly the same height as this man. Tim English looking for his second goal. Saunters in and off the side of the boot. Lucky to score. Real junk time stuff now.
Talked about the Dogs having Richmond, Sydney and North. St Kilda take on Collingwood. Tough. Freo away. Tough. Then Hawthorn.
Darcy been on the bench for 9.5 minutes.
Right. So not subbed, but just cooled down.
That's subbed.
Right. So if it was Jack, he's telling us he'd be standing up trying to weasel his way back on.
Walking up the stairs or something, I don't know.
Deep from Steele. Higgins doesn't quite get Dale under the footy.
It just shows the mindset difference between Darcy and Jack. Jack wants to kick 3 in jump time. Darcy needs to spell.
I just want to get on and play footy. But he's been fantastic tonight.
33 touches, Dale.
With wanting to play footy.
33 touches, Dale. 21 kicks. 12 handballs.
This is interesting for me with the Dogs. The midfielder that's going to half-back, Libber and Fraser tonight.
Kick in the Darcy direction. Couldn't mark it. Keeler. Here's Owens. Outpoints them and gets it to Steele. Steele long down the line. Marshall. He's got a man. Higgins presenting. It's Higgins. Can it sit up for him? He traps it. Throws it on the boots. He's kicked some miraculous ones from that boundary before, but he stepped out.
You just think of what sort of player Jack Higgins could be if the Saints could get their game right from 50 to 70 metres out. At the moment, that's the link they're missing. They need a Sinclair or they need a Wanganeen Miller forward of the ball to actually then get it over the back where Higgins is so damaging.
Guess who's back on?
He must love playing footy, Sam Darcy. He's back out in the ground, boys.
And he's in the ruck against Rowan Marshall. He's kicked 3 tonight, Sam. It's been almost impossible to stop in the air. Fraser on the overlap, kicked a nice running goal earlier on. Tries to pinpoint something and does effectively to Kennedy. Looks inboard. Back to Dale.
What about that? That was a rifle. Straight under the sternum of Davidson. Richards, Trelaw, Kennedy.
Well, the only team that's put any time into Bailey Dale is Geelong. And they put close to him, on him, off him. You know, when we're on attack, you've got to be an option. But when the Dogs won the ball. He was responsible for Bailey Dale. He kept him to 22 disposals. But apart from that, in the last 8 weeks, he's had an average of about 38 touches. It is frightening what this guy is doing, pretty much unopposed.
So Kennedy, 27 touches tonight, looking for his second, and sails it through for another one. 20 goals on the board for the Western Bulldogs.
There's been some high-profile recruits to opposition clubs this year, but this man here, in terms of what they've given up, the impact that he's had, would have to be nearly number one. I think he's given them something. You think you go and get what is a hard-nosed midfielder into a midfield that's already star-studded, but his ability to play half-forward, pinch hit when he gets in every now and then. You can see all the mids getting involved in this play has been excellent. I think the Bailey Dale one's a really interesting conversation to have, because you've got to give something up to go and play on Bailey Dale, but as soon as you go and put an extra number at the stoppage, the Bulldogs are so good at freeing up him or either Bailey Williams that you're nearly giving up exactly what they want.
Second for Kennedy. What a year he's had. 17 goals for the year. Saints, he's doing it all, Darcy. Now he's affecting Smothers and ground ball gets.
What's he doing? Get him off.
Keep him on.
I think I'm with you, Kingy. Long ball deep forward. Fist comes from behind by O'Donnell. Williams, hands above the tackler. Need to be slick here, McNeil. Is back to Bramble, the old 1-2. To the outer side.
Dolan arches the back. Loving his work, having a run, and then to Hines. A couple of the youngsters combining. Kick to Darcy over his head. Wilkie. They're still going to play it right out, the Dogs. And a ball up.
It's a big number, 20 goals. Looking for 21.
Darcy in the ruck against Keeler. Burns. Norton on the intercept. Carroll released. Leave a little tap down from Hall. Sharman can't evade.
Sam, Isaac, here we go.
Wanganeen Miller scooting away from his opponent to Trevelyan. Back he goes to Wilkie. Over the top, Trevelyan. And then kick to a contest here. Dogs have the numbers and punched out by O'Donnell. So Howie, 2024 was the Dogs by 10 goals. 71. The Dogs beat the Saints earlier in the year, and it's now 72 points tonight.
The Saints get something late. Marshall steers it forward. Rory Lobb just arrives with a fist of fury again.
He's had a fantastic last quarter, Rory Lobb.
Little bloke in the crowd putting up his hands, doing the lobster claws. Look at him. I like it, Kingy. Darcy still shouldering the load in the ruck. Vandermeer, Richards spins out of traffic, back to Sanders, centering handball, will go back to West. Two got the Dogs on the back of their two big boys. Norton free, Darcy free, and the Dogs absolutely smack the Saints by 72 points. Dogs by 16 at quarter time, 28 at half time. 6 goals to 2 in the third, out to 54 in the end. They kicked the last 4 of the match to run out 72-point winners. Norton with 3, Darcy with 3, Kennedy kicked a couple. Wanganeen Malira had 31, Sinclair 30, Dale 36, Kennedy 29. A dominant performance by the Dogs.
Yeah, 68 inside 50, so it was played in one half of the game, and the Dogs really did a number on the Saints in the end.
Eddie Betts is down at ground level. Come in, Eddie.
I'm just down here with Matt Kennedy. Mate, you must be thrilled with that. The boys come out this week and had a good win.
Yeah, it was good to bounce back the last couple of weeks. We've been a little bit disappointed and thought we had to clean up around the contest. And yeah, it was good to see we could finish our work today and get some reward for effort. We've been fighting hard, so yeah, to get the 4 points is nice.
And that was the main focus going on tonight. Obviously, last week against Hawthorn here wasn't the greatest game, but the focus coming in, just be clean, get the ball forward too, and give the forwards the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we missed out on a lot of opportunities last week, just first give. Credit to Hawthorn, their pressure was unreal, but I think we missed a lot of opportunities to use our teammates who worked hard to get in good spots. So I think there's a few errors tonight. We probably went for a few too many risky ones. Made a few mistakes myself, but no, it was good to see we just used each other and we worked hard from contest to contest, and yeah, it's good to get 3 points.
And we speak about the forward line. It's great to have Big Das back there, because when you just kick the ball to him, he sticks his hands up and he just marks everything.
No, he's incredible, isn't he? So to get him back was huge. Took a bit of pressure off Naughty and Buku, who have been fighting really hard for the last month and a bit without Das. But yeah, look, he's a super player. He makes our jobs a lot easier when you can just kick to him. But no, I thought the way he come back tonight, he was so diligent with his rehab, and he gets a reward of hard work. So no, I was very pleased for him.
And yourself, obviously coming across from the Baggers to the Kennel. How have you enjoyed your first season?
Mate, the club has been unreal, the way they've embraced me and the family, but just allowed me to play with freedom. But yeah, full credit to the leaders there and the mids and the coaches who have supported me and helped me adapt to a bit of a change in game plan and whatnot. But yeah, feeling a lot of love, and yeah, I'm playing my footy here at the minute, so yeah, it's all good fun. Hopefully we can keep the wins coming, mate.
Well, we love watching you, mate. You're an absolute star. Keep going, keep killing it, man. Well done.
A couple of goals tonight for Kennedy alongside 29, I suppose. Is that a fair night?
Yeah, he knows how to find the ball. He's always been a very good midfielder. This is a string to his bow that we didn't know that he had, and he can go forward and kick goals. Nearly up to 20 goals for the season. He's become another important cog in this football club's future, and they need to get moving in the back part of the year, and we think they probably will.
And it's a big win when you look at what Bontempelli's been able to do. He's just only had the 14 disposals. Tonight he was well clamped by Windhager, and he's only had less than 26 times in 3 years. So it's a big victory, that one, personally, for Marcus Windhager.
Brad Johnson played so much football with Luke Darcy, so he must be feeling very old out there on the ground, John.
I am, Howie. I need a stepladder to talk to this man next to me, Mr. 3.9, as Kingy described him today, because of your reach and how high you get, Sammy. But welcome back to footy. How'd that feel?
Thanks, John. Yeah, it felt great to be back out playing. And yeah, it felt like it went pretty quick, the whole rehab process. But yeah, it's a bloody good feeling to come back and get a win. How
did the knee feel? Any discomfort at all out there tonight?
Not really. It took me a little bit of getting used to, running and jumping contests again. But I think overall it feels good now. Hopefully it pulls up well, and yeah, go from there.
Take us through some of the work you did, Sam, because your confidence early on, especially in the air and attacking the marking contest, and I think that's what we're all looking at to see how you would prepare yourself at the footy.
Yeah, I think initially it was just let her recover, and then a lot of strength stuff to build around the quad to support the knee. Done a little bit of gymnastics to work on some balance and stability around that, and yeah, then just a lot of conditioning to make sure I can run out games.
We're looking at the moment at some of the marks that you took throughout tonight's game, but the delivery was pretty strong as well. They had good penetration on it, so you didn't sort of have to hold on it. You could really attack it in the air. Yeah, absolutely. Your eyes light up when you see guys like Richo, Bond, Libba, Ads, and Matty Kennedy coming out of the middle. So yeah, they did a really good job tonight of competing in there and giving us good looks forward. You're in the middle of the ground. You're part of that midfield as well. The rotations are huge in there. You don't know who's going to be in there every single centre bounce that happens. Yeah, I think that's the beauty of it. We've got so many people who can go through there. All the lone guys, Joel Fraser, Riley Sanders. And yeah, got so many different looks we can throw in there, which is just adds flexibility to our side, and yeah, got different narrow side bow, I guess. Yeah. Everyone said you put on 3 kilos. I reckon you got bigger than that, Sam. That's generous. I think maybe 1 or 2, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Congratulations. Welcome back to senior footy, Roy. I think the footy world is wrapped to see you back, and congratulations on a big win tonight. Appreciate it, Jono. Thank you.
This is Thursday Night Footy on Fox, brought to you by the Ford Everest. Conquer the weekend. What a return by Sam Darcy. So good to see the young Bulldogs star back in action and playing good football. The Bulldogs, a comprehensive 72-point win. 20 goals, Jason Dunstall. That was firepower.
It was easy in the end, and I think that's a bit of an indictment on the Saints. They weren't overly competitive, particularly after half-time. They just controlled it, the Western Bulldogs. They did that pretty comfortably, Joey.
Yeah, disappointed if you're a St Kilda fan. They did as they pleased after half-time. The Western Bulldogs, they were just far too good. Saints had a bit of a crack in that first half. The clearance stuff was okay. Got away from them a bit in the second quarter. But then after that, they just couldn't lay a glove on them. They'd be really disappointed with their defensive intensity. But the Bulldogs, as we've seen, if you just give them a little bit of time and space with ball movement and their ability to score, they are the best offence in the competition, and that's exactly what they did to St Kilda. They put them to the sword.
You can only beat who's put in front of you, Sarah, and they did that. They did it comprehensively. It's a good percentage booster for them, and it'll get the confidence up.
Well, they played 8 weeks ago. It was a 71-point victory. Tonight, 72 points. So it's fair to say the Dogs have their measure.
So they move up to 7th on the ladder at the moment, as Jason said, a bit of a jump in percentage as well. And their next month ahead is a pretty soft draw. They've got Richmond at Marvel, Sydney at the SCG, who certainly are the force they were last year, and then North Melbourne back at Marvel. So
yeah, and that's one of the reasons I think they can really jump right up into the mix, Sarah. I think they're a team on an upward spiral.
Certainly are. And having games here in Melbourne at Marvel Stadium, which they play so well, it just helps freshen guys up a little bit. No travel.
Yeah, they do. They've got a great record at Marvel. I know they had the poor one against the Hawks last week. I think it's 9 out of 10 now, and they just look a different side. With Sam Darcy back in there, they just look more confident as a group. We know they've still got a little bit of work to do defensively, although tonight it wasn't an issue. It's more of a challenge when they play the better teams, but really, I think that as they continue to get their players back in full health, Treloar's got a couple under the belt now. Darcy, they're getting a couple others back. I think they just continue to grow into this season like they have done in previous years. Bevo gets the best out of them at the back half of the season rather than at the start.
Mentioned before last week against the Hawks, they only kicked 59 points for the entire game. This week, 132. It's a huge turnaround. I mean, how much of Sam Darcy can you credit for that? Obviously, Aaron Norton was another one to chime in with some goals, but it does make them look more attractive.
It does, but I mean, scoring's what they've been able to do this year. They're a good scoring team, so it hasn't been an issue for them. They get plenty of the ball forward. They're very good at finding the scoreboard. They've got a lot of different avenues, but I think what Sam Darcy does is he gives them a little bit of predictability, and it's real fear factor for the opposition because he's so hard to stop, and he's going to draw a lot of free kicks as well for those players trying to stop him. And then the opportunities that it provides, knowing there'll be no intercept marks against him, the opportunities that it provides for all those players around him, it's going to be a weapon for them in the second half of the season.
So what a week for the Bulldogs. They get the win, they re-sign the coach, and Sam Darcy makes this successful return.
Woo, red, white and blue. Woo, we'll come out styling. Bulldogs do it through what we see. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs rock. We give the very best. But you can't beat the boys as Bulldog breathe with the team of the mighty West.
Let's have a look at our KFC FLG moments of the match, and it is none other than the young gun, Sam Darcy. He could have had a better night in front of goals, Jace. He missed a couple of reasonably easy ones. You certainly forgive him for that, coming back after 6 games out.
Yep.
It was his work in the air, as it always is, that is most eye-catching.
He's got beautiful hands. He doesn't drop many. This one wasn't paid for whatever reason. It's a clear mark before there was a late spoil, but he looked like he was going to mark everything that came his way. 9 marks amongst his 19 possessions, 3 goals too. He is just such a threat. But what impresses us, and Joe and I were talking about it during the game, it's his ability at ground level. Yeah. He doesn't fumble the ball, and he can turn onto his left foot and hit a target 50 metres away. He's got unique skills for a man of this size.
That's what makes him unbelievable. I mean, we've spoken, and Kingy did the pre-game, the highlights and his ability to mark, but as Jay said, his skills, his field kicking, I mean, it doesn't look, totally fluent, but it's really effective, particularly that left boot. The ground level play in his hands were really sharp for a guy that had missed 8 weeks of footy. He didn't look rusty. I was impressed that he went into the ruck. I wasn't sure whether they would ruck him coming off the knee injury, but obviously he and the club felt confident, so he was able to get around and win 3 clearances also. But I mean, this is scary signs for the rest of the competition that in his first game back, he was able to do this and look so imposing. 4 contested marks. It would have been 5 if they'd have played the one that wasn't. I mean, the kick like that, it's a scary sign.
I love the fact that they threw him into the ruck, because that means there was not even a skerrick of thought about coming back too early or trying to rush him back. He was genuinely ready to go and ready to take anything that was thrown at him.
And
so he's fully fit.
Work rate too. He played reasonable minutes, and they certainly didn't put him in cotton wool. They threw him right out there.
And he's only going to get better over the next 10 weeks.
Super exciting for Doggies fans and also footy fans in general. David King is a big fan. What did you love about it tonight, Kingy?
Well, pretty much what the boys have just touched on. I like the fact that those smalls knew where to crumb Jason, Joey, because they've had 21 ground ball gets in the forward 50 tonight. They haven't had that luxury for the last few weeks. Like Aaron Norton's been caught in behind. What he does do, he draws a crowd. So when he draws this sort of crowd, you get 3 forwards forward of the ball inside your forward 50. The Saints know where it's going. You can see 4 of them virtually just sort of take ground. They leave their opponent to get to assist on Darcy when the reality is they're never going to get there. It was a mauling, but I just think what this guy does in the forward half, particularly close to goal, changes everything you think about the Dogs over the first 13 weeks.
Yeah, you're right, King. And the other thing we saw tonight was a couple of times a player would drop off and go to help Caminiti, who was playing on Darcy, which meant there were 3 options inside the attacking 50, and they found a couple of those. So it just creates so many opportunities.
Well, what's going to happen? The committee, the meetings during the week about the Bulldogs now, you're going to be focusing on Sam Darcy. The conversations will be as backline group, we need to roll off support because one-on-one we're not going to be able to handle him, and that's what happens. The players over-invest in Darcy, and it opens up opportunities for others.
Aaron Norton looked pleased that he was back. So 3 goals from Norton, and it just allowed him a little bit more opportunity, Joey.
Yeah, well, it has. It's taken the pressure off him, let's be honest. And, I mean, he hasn't really thrived in being the number 1 forward without Darcy. He's had some solid games, and he's had a few quiet ones. And even tonight, it wasn't like a great game, but to bob up and kick 3, as we said, more attention goes to Sam Darcy. He gets some better looks. He gets some one-on-one opportunities. All of a sudden, they're not double-teaming him. And to be honest, he's kicked 3 on Cal Wilkie, who coming into tonight was probably the All-Australian defender. So we haven't seen that too often, that Cal Wilkie has been beaten. So that's also a big tick because he wasn't going up against an also-ran. He was going up against one of the best key defenders in the competition. So some positive signs for Aaron Norton and the Western Bulldogs.
Does an amazing job, Cal Wilkie, given how undersized he is compared to all the key forwards he plays on.
How perfect was that third term?
Well, we just found a little nugget with the Western Bulldogs ball movement in the third quarter that we needed to show because, in simple terms, they started with possession 20 times in that quarter. So either from a kick-in, a clearance, or winning the ball from an intercept. And in all 20 instances, they went inside 50. So from a ball movement perspective, it was almost the perfect quarter. But that's horror signs for StKilda, that they could not stop any ball movement from anywhere in the ground other than obviously inside the forward 50. So whether it was in the forward half, the midfield, or from defensive 50. It's only ever happened once before, and that was the Cats some 13 years ago. So it was pretty impressive, and the Dogs do have the ability to move the ball. And this is just one example of this third quarter. So this one they win from an intercept, and as it happened for the whole quarter, this possession would end up inside 50, and this was one that ended up in a goal. So 8 of those 20 inside 50s ended up in a score. Liberatore, this was coming off half-back, having a little stint, but you just look at the quality of players involved in this chain, and Riley West getting on the end of it, and the class finish, and it was a pretty impressive quarter. But that was the moment you probably realised StKilda aren't in this. They could not lay a glove on them. They couldn't win the ball back through the middle of the ground, and from that point on, it was a bit of a procession.
All right, we're going to head to a very happy Brad Johnson, who's down in the victorious Bulldogs rooms. Jono.
All right, one of the players of the night, Rory Lobb. That was a fantastic win. Great response as well after the game against the Hawks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we wanted to start the game well. I feel like this year we sort of lost first quarters and we're chasing, the tails of the opposition. But, we were able to get a good start, and then off the back of that, we were able to play a bit of a front half game.
And where do you like playing? Obviously, you went forward last week. Do you prefer forward or do you love it down back?
Yeah, I mean, I am a third forward in the end. I do prefer to play back, so it was good to have Das back up forward, and I could play down the line and play my game, that contest game. Just read the ball and back my strengths.
Do you prefer to play back because you don't have to pick up a man, Rory?
Well, to be honest, I feel like I'm on 1-on-2 a lot out the back. I mean, we don't really play that sort of guy that sits free. We sort of read off each other. I would like to play free. That would be nice. But no, I like to go to my man and then just play best position.
And that's the thing. Yes, I joke, but in all seriousness, the way you time it perfectly. If it's coming in quick, you're assertive and you leave. But then we also show great vision of slow play and how you're really controlled on your direct opponent to take control, take space, and take the aerial ability as well.
Yeah, Daniel Pratt, backs coach, has done a lot of work with me over the off season. Last year I was just sort of playing aggressive and just doing what I wanted. And then I went and I was playing on Das all pre-season, and he's so big. So I feel like it's really helped both of us in a way. We don't usually play on guys our size. So yeah, I mean, I've played a little bit more defense over the off season or the pre-season, and then now I'm sort of back at my strengths a bit.
And speaking about Das, obviously very important to have him back in there. He absolutely dominated today. If you kick it high in that forward line, what is his height we were speaking about? 3.9 metres in the air where he's going. So if you kick it high, no one's going to defend him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm guilty of kicking him the ball when he's 1-on-3. I get a little bit drawn to him. I just love kicking it to him because it's just so funny. He just goes up with his go-go gadget arms. So yeah, I mean, we got to work on being balanced with kicking it to him, because I feel like there's a lot of teams that are playing more numbers rolling to him.
Did you hear the crowd in the last quarter? They were right behind you, Rory.
Yeah, I mean, the cheer squad's been on me since they've gone back. It's been very good. I mean, they're so supportive. We have some amazing fans, and I love getting around them. I didn't give them too much today because I was pretty tired. I didn't come off the ground, and I was in paddock with Higgins a little bit, and I was pretty tired to give anyone anything.
And just lastly, any new ideas with the hair?
I've been informed by my partner Lexi that there's no more dyeing. I've got to get my hair brown and a decent length for our wedding. So no more dyeing of the hair. Sorry, all the fans, all the Bulldogs fans. They're all asking me to do different things, but I'm done.
It's all for a good cause, mate, and a fantastic win tonight as well. Congratulations on a great effort.
So thanks, guys.
Well done.
Bit of pressure there to deliver the hairdo for the wedding, Joey.
He's been told, needs the wedding photos, can't have any of that stuff going on.
He's been entertaining, though, with the hair.
Yeah, it's been great.
Kids love it, don't they? Yep. Something to look at. All right, Ed Richards is having a marvellous season at the moment, the number one ranked player in the comp.
Yeah, the number one rated player in the competition. He's flying. And just again, it wasn't probably a game that jumped off the TV screen at you, but when you look at it, the impact is incredible. So he's had game-high contested possessions, clearances, score involvements, inside 50s, and the second most tackles to go with his 24 disposals and a goal. So this guy just continues to deliver week in, week out in a really even team performance. Just everything he does turns to gold, and it's why he's the highest rated player in the competition, and why Kingy calls him the Red Diamond, is it? He was fabulous.
The Red Diamond was brilliant tonight. Kingy, have you got a fancy nickname for Joel Frazier?
No, I haven't. But I'll tell you what, I like what they've done with this guy. Joey, they've played in midfield and then at half-back over the last few weeks. And Libba and Joel sort of alternate those roles. This young fella from Horsham via Ballarat, I just have a look at his influence on the game. He's one of those guys that can have, 15 to 20 odd disposals, but everything he does has a touch of class about it. He just kicks to the favoured side of his forwards. He had 21 disposals of pretty much 100% tonight, 6 score involvements. He went to half-back and had 5 intercept possessions. I just think he's another tool that Luke Beveridge likes to throw around a little bit. I'm not sure with the inclusion of Kennedy where that leaves Libba, and that's a conversation for another day, but this guy can play anywhere, and Bevo loves him.
Yeah, it's a great conversation, because I was worried the last couple of weeks he'd played more in defence, and I thought, maybe he's going to lose that spot in the midfield rotations because of Treloar coming back in and everyone being fit and healthy. But tonight, Bevo went and put him in there a bit more, and he showed his class. And I just wonder whether he prioritises, as King said, Joel Frazier over maybe a couple of the more experienced Bulldogs, because he does have a touch of class.
Let's focus on the Saints for a minute. Jack Sinclair, game number 200, another standout performance from him. He just tries his heart out every week, and he is their best player and played accordingly tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of know what you get with Jack Sinclair every week, don't you? In game number 200, a game where they were getting thoroughly beaten, he picked up his 30 possessions, He uses the ball well. The only thing he'd be disappointed about is he could have kicked 2 goals.
Yeah.
They ended up with a couple behind, so it would have made for an absolute stunning game had he been able to finish those opportunities. But you can just see how he directs traffic. He uses the ball beautifully, and he was one of the few winners. Nazi Wanganeen Miller played well, but didn't use the ball as well as he normally does, coming off the other back flank. This guy uses the ball as well as anyone in the competition. And the other one, I think, I don't want to stop talking about Jack because he's played 200 very high-quality games. But I think Marcus Windhagen deserves a nod as well because he played a brilliant game on Marcus Bontempelli, keeping him to 14 possessions and no impact on the game. So a couple of players there for the Saints can hold their heads high.
Yeah, they were the 2 best tonight. I thought Sinclair, he had 9 score involvements, which was 3rd most on the ground. Everything he touched led to something positive. He missed a couple of goals. Naz Wanganeen, as you touched on, had 10 turnovers. Just tried to bite off a little bit too much tonight. But congratulations to Jack Sinclair. He's a wonderful St Kilda person. Not the night that he would have hoped for, but he can hold his head up high.
Lots still to come here on Thursday Night Footy on Fox. We've got Chiefs trivia, always the highlight. I fear that Joey might have the inside edge tonight, being a St Kilda focused quiz, but we'll also have press conferences from both coaches.
All right, folks, there we go. I think they gave us a good analysis of their game today with their thoughts. But my gosh, the Bulldogs 2012 132, St Kilda 8-12 60, 72-point winners. Talk about a shellacking. 4 goals, 3 the Bulldogs in that final term. 1 goal, 3 the Saints. It was just a procession for the Doggies. It was just pretty much game over halfway through the opening term for the Saints, especially after half time. The Saints just didn't give a yelp. Didn't give a yelp. Pardon the pun. Yelps for the Dogs. There we go. But the Dogs were just way too strong, way too classy. And, of course, Sam Darcy played out the game until the siren. Of course, geez, didn't he make a big difference coming back into the Dogs side? They just looked so much more dangerous going in forward, and he even had a little bit of a run in the ruck. So everything looks to be on song for the Bulldogs. As I was saying, they got some pretty easier games coming up. I think they got Richmond next week, and then I can't remember who they got. They got a couple of others, and I think they got some pretty easy sides. So they'll be looking at definitely a top 4 position, not too far away. Let's just see how the goal scorers ended up. Aaron Norton, Sam Darcy ended up with 3 for the Dogs. Riley Sanders, Karmas, Matty Kennedy with 2, and of course a host for the singles of Riley West, Treloar, Ad Richards, Lockie McNeil, Cooper Hines, Bradley Hill. No, he was from the Saints. Joe Frazier, Tim English, Sam Davison, singles for the Dogs. For the Saints, Mason Wood, all singles. Winhager, Wanganeen Miller, Sharman, Killer, Bradley Hill, Higgins, and Burns were singles. Disposal getter, of course. Top the table, Bailey Dale. Wow, 36 he ended up having, 23 kicks, 6 handballs, 10 marks, 3 clearances. Best for the Saints, we had Wanganeen Miller on 31 and Jack Sinclair on 30. They were only 3 in the 30s this evening. Of course, Tom Liberatore had a fantastic second half, 29 touches. Also with Matty Kennedy, 29. Treloar, 28. Fantastic. Well done to the players there. They went well. Jack Still, Jack McRae, 22 apiece for the Saints. As we roll on down, Sam Darcy, what a return to football after the knee injury. 19 touches, 12 kicks, 7 handballs, 9 marks, 4 tackles, 8 hitouts, 3 clearances. 3 goals, 2. Sensational. All right, there we go. Tim English, the big man for the Dogs, 18 touches. He kicked 1 goal, 1, 34 hitouts, 3 clearances. That's not too bad. Mason Wood there was 16. Winhager was 16. Just trying to find a few of the others. Bradley Hill tried hard for the Saints with 16 and 1 goal. The Bont was tagged really, really well this evening and lost, I think his tagger won that tonight. The Bont, just the 14 touches, 1 behind. Only 3 clearances for the Bont, so he was well held this evening. I tell you what, the taggers are starting to come back into the game and they're doing their job well. If they can get that job done well, they're doing it well. That made sense, didn't it? All right, let's have a look at the disposals. There we go, plus 66. Clickety click for the Bulldogs in disposal get. Inside 50s, what was it? 20-32 scoring shots. The Saints, 40 inside 50s, 68. For the Doggies, there we go. They say in the third quarter, the Dogs 20 times they went inside 50 for every possession they ended up with the ball. Or like a turnover throw in when they ended up with the ball, they went inside 50. There we go. Free kicks 16-22. The Dogs plus 6. I'm looking at the disposal efficiency. Dogs are really good on tonight, 78.1. 73 is their season average. Saints just under the average, so it was a pretty good game. The hit-outs, the Dogs ended up plus 6 there. The Saints were plus 1 in the clearances, plus 2 in the centre clearances, and the Dogs plus 1 in the stoppage clearances, so pretty good effort all round. Contested possessions, pretty tidy, 110, 129. It was 50 in uncontested. The Dogs just controlled it. As you have a look at the marks there, controlling the ball, 94. 121 to the Dogs. There we go, plus 27. Marks inside 50. High number for the Dogs. 19 marks inside 50. Fantastic. Mind you, the Saints did pretty good with 10 marks inside 50. Dogs contested marks, with some of their Norton, Darcy and that, the marks contested. Yeah, they're really, really hard to beat. Tackle-wise, both teams ended up with 59 tackles. Good stuff, both teams tackling well. The tackles inside 50. The Saints really need to look at their forward pressure. Just wasn't enough. 17 from the Dogs. There we go. Tell you what, it was certainly lack of pressure from the Saints tonight, and you really need to bring that pressure if you want to stop runs and take control of the game. I think, the teams that can put the pressure on for 4 quarters, always hard to beat. With that result tonight, of course, the Western Bulldogs, they don't just jump up into top 7th. They lift their percentage up to 127.7. Up into 7th position now, played 13 rounds, won 7, lost 6. And, of course, for the Saints, well, they're down there in 14th now. Down in 14th. They go below Carlton, Sydney, Melbourne. They go below them, all on 20 points, 87.8. Super low percentage. That could just about be lights out for a StKilda for this year. Tell you what, I just can't see how they're going to get back. But danger. The teams above Western Bulldogs, the Western Bulldogs are coming. I tell you what, I think the next 3 weeks for the Western Bulldogs, they're expected to win every game. And if they do that, that'll take them up to 40. So it's going to be interesting with some of these teams playing each other around abouts. What's going to, that's going to change that top 8, and the Bulldogs are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Look, let's just hope. For the Melbourne sides out there, if the Western Bulldogs make the top 4, let's just hope they end up 2nd or 3rd, so they're not going to play Collingwood in the first round of the finals. The Melbourne don't really want to see that, and of course I think the AFL don't want to see that, because the crowd that the Magpies and the Bulldogs can bring on those monster games can really draw the crowds in. Brisbane also, of course, bring the crowds in. But there we go. Hey, let's have a look at these teams, who they're playing next week. Where is the fixture? I've got the fixture up. Next week, of course, StKilda and the Western Bulldogs. Of course, StKilda come up against the hardest team, the best team in the competition at the moment next week. StKilda are taking on the might of Collingwood next Saturday night. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be here to cover that game. I'll be out next Saturday and I won't even be here to cover that game. I cannot believe it. Oh no. Anyway, that's all right. StKilda coming up against Collingwood. Should be a big percentage booster there for Collingwood next week, I would imagine, unless the Saints can, well, I don't know, pull out some type of miracle. I think the result will pretty much be the same as this. And, of course, the Western Bulldogs next week, well, they play Richmond. I think it's going to be pretty much the same result as this tonight. Bulldogs will continue to build on their percentage, continue to climb up that ladder. because next week, of course, I know we've got this week, but I'm just going next week. Geelong will play Brisbane, so that'll be fascinating. The Giants will play the Suns, so for some of the teams in the top 8. Some of the teams in the top 8. And, of course, tomorrow night, the Hawthorn will play Adelaide. Brisbane will play the GWS Giants, so we could well see the Giants fall out of the 8 after round 14. That'll be interesting, especially if Fremantle end up winning. And, of course, Essendon play Geelong. Essendon, who are vying to jump in. That'll be a fantastic game as well. Don't write off Essendon in that match. I think that match could be a little bit closer than people think. But what a fantastic round of football coming up. Hey, Branko, how you going? Yeah, Bulldogs beating Tigers. I think that, yeah, they look they should. You know, last week the Tigers played well the first quarter and then they just looked super tired the final 3 quarters and just copped a shellacking. They come up against this quality side in the Bulldogs next week. I think they're going to cop a shellacking again. Whew, I tell you what, Hawks play the bye-bye. It could be. It just as well could be. You just never know. If Adelaide beat Hawthorn, wowee, because Hawthorn have got the bye the week after that. So if Hawthorn lose and they've got the bye and the Dogs win the next couple of weeks, well, the Dogs will go above. It depends on the Giants and Fremantle. They need to win, but they're going to find it tough against Brisbane. Fremantle, you would think possibly should jump into the top 8, having a win over North Melbourne. You would think that, because their percentage is like, 0.8%. You would think they'd win enough to jump in. And then they've got I think Fremantle have got the next 3 games at home, so that's really going to be tight too. So the top 8 is going to be fiddling around a little bit over the next few weeks. But I think the only thing that won't be fiddling around, folks, is, of course, top of the ladder, Collingwood. I think they'll definitely stay there. And I think they'll stay there till the end of the season. I think they will be minor premiers come the end of the home and away final, because they've got StKilda next week. Hallelujah. I feel GWS upset Brisbane. I tell you what, that would be interesting if that happened, Branko. That would be very, very... Could you imagine if the Giants upset Brisbane and Adelaide and Hawthorn? I tell you what, that's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. Just say, for instance, Giants beat Brisbane. They'll go to 32. And then Hawthorn beat Adelaide. Can you imagine that? 44, 38, 36, 36, 32. I tell you what, that'd be just tight as... Well, that'll be tight as tight, that top 8, and really, really interesting and fascinating. But we'll have to get through this round of football to see where it all happens. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? It's a funny game footy where the cream certainly rises to the top. And this is now when your team wants to start and get on a roll, start to just get everything working right, get everything working smoothly. Titus Guinea, Sana All, Titus Guinea. Your team wants to certainly work out its cobwebs, dust them off, and start to play some good football running into the finals. They've probably got I suppose they've, what are we up to? Round 14. We've got about 9 rounds to go, haven't we? So they don't want to be too far off, starting to play good football, start to consolidate their team, get a solid team list with not too many changes, unless they're just going to rest a couple of players and get them solid for the finals coming up. But we've got a fantastic back half of the season where the ladder is going to change. Like always, it could come down to the final round till we actually understand who's going to play who in the finals. Hey, folks, the poll got it right anyway. In our poll tonight, where was it? It was about 83%, I think, tipped. I've lost it. It's somewhere there. 81%, tipped the Western Bulldogs. There we go. So that's all right. I support Sydney Swans. We aren't playing finals this year. Vic Park Magpies. Yeah, look, I don't know what's going on with the Swans. The one thing with the Swans I know is there's like three players in the Sydney Swans that generally play pretty good. The rest of the team, they're on the bus. Let's just say that. They just go out there and just they're out there because they have to be and they paid. You know, you got Grundy and you got Heaney and you got the other great player there. What's his name? Oh my gosh, Chad Warner. You know, you got the three stars there that generally play pretty good. Look, I don't know whether it's the coach. The Swans need to market. They've got good players. It's the second and third tier players. They need to get off their ass and actually play football, put a bit of pressure on and lift, because it's always left up to Heaney and the other players, the other top players. Amadi is okay. He doesn't really do enough. The rest of the team does not do enough. They need to lift, or they need to kick him out of the side and bring someone else up and give them a chance. Sydney Swans it's like they're on a picnic every time they play. That's how I see the Sydney Swans. There's like three players that, definitely Grundy and Heaney. They're the two players that always give their all. Chad Warner turns up when he wants to, and the rest of them, well, they're hardly there. That's the issue. Now, you go and have a look at some of the good sides. Go and have a look at the Bulldogs tonight. Like all their players, they turn up. They play their role. They do what they're supposed to. And that's the difference. Whereas Sydney are not doing. Hey, all right, folks. Hey, I've got to get going. My battery's just about to go flat. So I'll say ciao for now. And we'll see you tomorrow night at the big game. Hawthorn versus Adelaide. Ciao for now. Thanks all.